Times to make up your mind in these trying times, yeah. I just can't accept you leaving me when I'm overseas with the heart so heavy. Think that I deserve the truth for once, not a guilty tone, cause you're not alone, yeah. You said you wanna come home, but I know you don't. So this time I won't hear it on the phone. If you got something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face, you're sorry.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. It is Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. Thank you so much for joining us. I am joined, as always, by my brother from another mother, the distinguished gentleman known as Dr. Carl Mack, who is the creator of Black Heritage Days for the calendar from which we derive so much of our history on the, 99% of our history on this show. Dr. Mack, how are you this morning?
I'm so good, Brother Dixon. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We are running a little bit behind this morning, and that's because of me. But we're here, and I'm glad to be here. We want to begin, as always. Okay, so my mic is low. Let's get these.
Let me go ahead and get it started because my mic may be a little low as well.
Yeah. So let's do it. Get it started for us, Dr. Mack.
Good. Hey, Google, what happened on this day in Black history?
On February 23, 1868, William Edward Burghardt Du Bois was born in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. An outstanding critic, editor, scholar, author, and civil rights leader, Du Bois emerged as one of the most influential Black figures of the 20th century. He entered the national spotlight as a prominent founding member of the Niagara Movement, with other Black activists who disagreed with Booker T. Washington and his Atlanta Compromise. The Niagara Movement became the foundation of the NAACP. Adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Karl Mack.
Now, Dr. Mack, we normally have the B-roll running on that, and we'll come back and do it again. But when I saw that today was the day that W.B. Du Bois was born, I was excited about it. One of the most influential books that I read in my development and my growth was Soul of Black Folks, The Soul of Black Folks. And so I was excited about this Black History moment today.
Yeah, likewise, Ben. As a matter of fact, I had a chance to go to Ghana. And for those of us who may not be aware, Booker T. Washington and his wife ended up going to Ghana and living there. And that is where he is buried. And I had a chance to actually go to his grave site, which is a very beautiful site. And they paid tribute to the brother there. But an absolutely powerful brother who, again, as they said, started the Niagara movement. And basically the whole reason they started the Niagara movement, which became the foundation for the NAACP, is that they were very much opposed to Booker T. Washington's philosophy. And Booker T. Washington, the founder of Tuskegee, basically had a philosophy, especially as espoused in his Atlanta Compromise, where he is famously remembered for telling Black folks to just cast down your pails. And basically what he was saying to Black folks is, look, don't worry about trying to get the right to vote. Don't worry about trying to advance. Let's just work hard. Let's be industrious and hope that white folks would like us and love us. And then they'll become our friends and they'll do the right thing. And W.B. Du Bois and the other group, which, could be called the Talented 10th, had a whole different mindset to that. So
Yeah, and that's an ongoing debate. I've seen the debate acted out between W. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. What are your thoughts? One of the things that I loved about W.B. Du Bois is the fact that even with the idea of the Talented 10th, later in his life, he kind of backed away from that concept and really kind of broadened it out to all Blackness. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, and I agree with you. That's the one concept about him that made him bougie, made him an elitist. And so I didn't much care for the philosophy of the Talented 10. I certainly didn't care about it. So again, as he aged and understood that, you can't have a certain percentage of folks, the whole concept it was wrong. So I certainly didn't admire that aspect of his logic. But his fire, his movement for Black folks, his holding folks accountable, certainly hard to argue with that man known as W.B. Du Bois.
It was honestly, I think one of the first books that put me on a path towards consciousness was The Soul of Black Folk, and a book by a professor from Florida A&M, Dr. Naeem Akbar, The Community of Self. Those are two books in particular that I remember being a flashpoint for my life. And I did love, I love seeing brilliant people become even more brilliant, if I can be so bold, like his evolution to the Talented 10th, but even more so his evolution away from his own idea represented the kind of intellectual veracity and integrity that I really admire.
And for those of us who are members of the NAACP, and I am a life member, my entire family is a life member of the NAACP. The magazine for the NAACP, The Crisis, is a magazine that was started by W.B. Du Bois. So there you go.
I'm looking over here at my calendar. If I can just jump off a screen for a second.
Sure. I
have my calendar nearby at all times, and I want to suggest just.
All right, so it looked like we lost my brother, but he'll be coming back. He in his excitement of getting his calendar. But again, when it comes to Black Heritage Day 4, would certainly invite all of you to look at purchasing a copy of it. You can go to blackheritagedays.com. Don't worry about the fact that we're nearly through the month of February. Black Heritage, I think most of us believe and have in our spirits that Black history ought to be every day of the year. And so with that being said, the calendar does not have a day, does not have a year. It is a perpetual calendar. So you'll be able to use it year in and year out. But now my brother is back. So I was simply being a good wingman for you.
I appreciate that. Let me fix this microphone too, because I know that's going to be you. I did get too excited and knocked all of my camera equipment off. But that is the nature of the pandemic. Doing media in the pandemic is one of two things. Either you're on mute in Zoom or you knock out your whole entire camera setup in a matter of a split second. I appreciate you covering my back there. I want to jump, Dr. Mack, to a story that is really bothering me. 19 officers in Austin, Texas have been indicted for aggravated assault. And these indictments stem from the 2020 George Floyd protests. Now, I have a clip from our friend Amy Goodman at Democracy Now!, who is summarizing the grand jury indictment sources. And here's the thing. As we listen to this, the insult to injury, those 19 officers, they have been given a single dollar as bail. $1 bail, which is the insult to injury on top of the fact of the aggravated assault that occurred during the 2020 George Floyd protests. Let's take a listen into this clip and a summary from our friend at Democracy Now!, Amy Goodman.
In Texas, a grand jury has indicted 19 Austin police officers on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon for their roles in violently suppressing Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. News of the indictments came just hours after Austin approved a $10 million settlement with 2 protesters injured by police, including 20-year-old Texas State University student Justin Howell, who suffered brain damage when he was shot in the head with a lead pellet bag fired by an officer's shotgun.
Now, out of the 19 officers, 8 of them have been given a single dollar bail. Dr. Mack, I know we all were seized by the protests. We all saw the country move into action on behalf of George Floyd, but we also saw the brutal suppression tactics. And here we are with, I don't know if we call this accountability with that dollar bill. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Man, let me be very transparent here. I keep up with a lot of things. I don't keep up with everything. So I'm going to need you to back this thing up, put it in reverse, and explain to me in as simply terms as you can, because I think what you're saying to me and to all of us is that these 19 officers, were they found guilty? So obviously they were found guilty and they were given bail.
Well, they were indicted.
They were indicted. And the judge says, all right, you're guilty. I'm going to throw you in jail. But if you want to bail yourself out, your bail's going to be $1. Is that what you're saying to me, Ben? Is that what you telling us, Ben Dixon?
I will give you, and it's not from me, I will give it to you according to the Associated Press. A Texas grand jury indicted 19 Austin police officers on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon for their actions during the 2020 protests over racial injustice that spread nationwide following the killing of George Floyd. Multiple people spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the case. Austin Police Association president confirmed 19 officers are facing charges, but did not give out any more details. Word of the indictments came hours after Austin city leaders approved paying $10 million to 2 people injured by members of the 1,640 officer department. So yes, these officers have been indicted. They were arrested. And they were 8 of them were given a single dollar bail for their actions, according to the Associated Press. And I can continue reading if you need more information. But
no, fam. I think I got it. So Ben, if you indict somebody, that means they did something wrong. And in this case, what we just heard from the clip is that there was a young man who suffered brain damage as a result of what these officers collectively did. Am I oversimplifying that?
No, you're not. That's exactly right. Some people, and across the country now, this shouldn't just be an Austin, Texas thing, to be sure, because we saw people lose eyes. We saw people lose hearing. They were brutally assaulted with the crackdown.
Okay. Well, just stay with me here. So these 19 officers, right?
19 officers indicted.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
19 officers collectively did something wrong to the fact that the city of Austin paid to two individuals $10 million. And one of those individuals we know suffered brain damage.
That's correct. That's
The
correct.
judge found everybody guilty and said to at least 8 of these officers, but your bail is $1.
Well, guilty is a word that we got to leave for the jury, but they indicted them, right? That they were held on bond pending their trial.
Okay.
And so until that trial, they have a single dollar bill, if I'm getting the story correct. But
Okay.
That's where
And
we are.
I love the fact that you're keeping me straight. So they were indicted. They were indicted. Now the judge at this point knows that there was a young man who suffered brain damage as a result of what these officers collectively did.
Yep. Let me give you this.
Judge says, and now that judge says to 8 of them, your bail gonna be $1.
The largest of the Austin settlements, let me read this from the Associated Press, was $8 million to Justin Howell, who was 20 years old when police shot him with a beanbag round. Family members told the AP that following the incident, Howell suffered a cracked skull and brain damage, leaving him in critical condition for multiple days. The city also paid $2 million to Anthony Evans, who was 26, when Austin police officers shot him with a beanbag round in a separate incident, which resulted in an extensive medical treatment to his jaw. Yes.
Okay. Ben, I don't know how much more insulting you could be like that. I don't know.
That's it.
Now that we done flushed this thing out, I think everybody should be very clear that I can shoot you, man, and you suffer brain damage, the possibility of you losing an eye, and somehow through this, I can indict you to show that, hey, I'm holding you accountable, but I'm gonna hold you accountable for at least $1.
For $1. For $1. It is the insult to the literal injury. That is where we are. Yes, Brother Mac.
So I got this judge giving $1. I got the Asian judge yesterday saying, yeah, you killed him. But I know, I saw your intent. I understand your intent.
Your heart.
I understand it. So I'm going to give you 2 years, but I'm going to make it 16 months for time already served while we've been going through this process.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, that's that judicial system.
Exactly.
That is built just for us. So,
and you know what, Dr. Mac?
Again,
I'm sorry.
When people cannot understand our issues, it is the collective pounding upon pounding. And as Georgia said yesterday, when Georgia, Sister Ford went through the names of Black folks that have been killed just in the state of Minnesota, these are names that we have all heard. We may not have linked them all back to Minnesota. And then finally, that proverbial straw that broke the camel's back was George Floyd. Any one of those straws should have broke our back. Philando Castile should have broke our back. Any one of them. I don't mean to call just his name. Any one of them should have broke our backs when you look at how egregious they are. And then look how this system. So folks, when you cannot understand, while every now and again, a sane, rational man like myself, college educated, when I decide to cast down my pail, as Booker T. Washington said, and I'm casting the pail down because I don't want no water in the pail. I want to let it burn. You can't understand it, family. This is why.
It's the insult. And the thing is, Dr. Mac, is this system is working exactly how it's designed. This next story shows us the opposite side of the justice system when it comes to Black folks. Vincent Simmons was a man who is now 70 years old. He is being freed from Angola, from prison, after 44 years. I have a clip that gives us a summary of why he was in prison in the first place and the process of him getting free after all of these years. Let's take a listen to that clip.
I want to go somewhere where it's quiet, where I can think and enjoy the moment of freedom.
The shackles on his feet were unlocked.
I feel good.
Monday, Vincent Simmons walked out of a Louisiana courthouse free for the first time in 44 years. Friends, families, and supporters celebrated in joy.
I've been waiting on this since I was 13 years old.
In 1977, a jury took just minutes to convict Simmons of the aggravated rape of 14-year-old twin sisters. From the time of his arrest, Simmons insisted he was innocent.
You have to sacrifice everything else in prison and focus on your freedom when you're innocent.
From inside Louisiana's notorious Angola prison, Simmons fought his case 4 decades, 16 denied motions, and then one phone call from a New York City lawyer changed everything.
He said, my name is Justin Bonus. He said, I've been sent to represent you. I said, Lord. It was just like God had answered my prayer.
Justin Bonus has represented men fighting convictions in New York City for years. After hearing about the Simmons case, Bonus started researching. He found evidence that could have helped clear Simmons' name was available at the time of his trial, but never presented to the jury.
I said, well, one of two things happened here. Either the defense attorneys either completely threw this trial or they didn't get the discovery.
Bonus then brought in paralegal Derek Hamilton to help with the case. For years, Hamilton has shed light on wrongful convictions in New York City after Hamilton himself was exonerated for a Brooklyn murder in 2015.
Because it was so fundamentally wrong what they did to Vincent.
While the twin sisters who initially accused Simmons of rape stand by their story, Monday a Louisiana judge threw out Simmons' conviction in order the charges against him be dropped.
Wow, it's amazing how it feels out here now. And the people that are showing me love.
Today, Simmons and his legal team spoke with Pix 11 News from Louisiana as Simmons tries to adapt to a free world he left nearly half a century ago. His legal team just set up a GoFundMe page for Simmons. All he walked out of prison with were the clothes on his back. After Simmons was released from prison, a Louisiana prosecutor declined to try him again. So this appears to finally be the end of his fight against those criminal charges from the 1970s.
And again, that was a report from Pix 11 News there locally in Louisiana. Dr. Mack, we juxtapose this to what we just saw with those police officers. You get a good picture of what it is to have or to call this a justice system in America.
From the Library of Congress.
See, Ben, when you said Angola, I'm thinking when you said a brother from Angola was released, I'm thinking you talking the country.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking you talking about
Angola prison right there in Louisiana.
Right. It's not what I'm thinking about, right? But Ben, go back and just think of the number of brothers. You know, the movie Hurricane, right? Hurricane Carter.
That's right.
Same kind of thing. The Scarborough Boys, same kind of thing. Exonerated 5, same kind of thing. Tulsa, Oklahoma, same kind of thing. See, that's what Black Wall Street was burned down. Why? Because white woman accused a brother of raping. Rosewood, Florida, same kind of thing. Ben, I could do this all day with you of naming cases after cases after cases where the evidence is sitting right there. Now, being my problem, you know, first of all, I'm grateful to the lawyer who came from New York.
That's right.
I'm very much grateful for the brother that they freed out of New York that was wrongfully convicted. And now that brother in turn is paying it forward. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. But Ben, you know, I got to be sitting there thinking, man, in Louisiana, ain't no black lawyers down there that could have looked at that case and saw that.
Okay.
Because it didn't appear that they had to be just microscopic in looking at the evidence. Like somewhere it's sitting right there. So see, because we know that this situation exists, you know, this is where, you know what, I'm going down the wrong path. I'm going to leave that alone. I just want to, you know what, because I'm throwing a little shade. That's my bad, family. I'm apologizing.
No, it's a good question, Dr. Matt.
But let's celebrate the beauty that our brother got out. Let's celebrate the beauty that this brother came down from New York. Brother from another mother came down from New York, but he bought a brother, you know, he bought the other brother with him. And he got our brother out. I'm gonna stop right there. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, I think your frustration is right and proper, right? And I want to give a shout out to the journalist who put that entire thing together. That was Ayanna Harry from the local station there, Pix 11.
Thank you, Sister Ayanna.
Because honestly, the truth is, Dr. Mack, that's a good question. It did not seem as though this attorney had to do a whole lot from the description. I'm sure there was work. I'm sure there's massive effort, but in terms of the technicality,
yes,
it didn't seem like an impossible task. So I am grateful to that brother from New York for coming down. But I'm also ticked off when I see that the judge in this case wanted to try this man again. And it was up to the district attorney to say, no, we're not going to try him again. Meaning a subset of this country, America, they have a bloodlust for putting black bodies in prison.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even stop when they get evidence to the contrary.
And see, Ben, like I said, the other night this weekend, I remember watching CNBC. Now, CNBC is a business channel, but I remember the owners of the Philadelphia 76ers, young white boy, coming on, talking about the whole Meek Mills case. I never followed the Meek Mills case, but this weekend, I just happened to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, that's right.
And I got to tell you something, Ben. The behavior of that black woman judge, absolutely floored me. Her, of all people, floored me. The behavior of the cop, the behavior of that entire city, being they put that cop's name on a list that says, we have enough information about this cop that he is so dirty that we cannot use him as a credible witness. And they had to overturn cases. And even when the black judge sees that, she just continues on. In this case, you done trumped up this brother for 44 years, and your ego still wants to drive you to go take the rest of his life, even though you can look at the evidence and see that he was wrongfully convicted. I tell you.
That's America. We're going to talk about this a whole lot more coming up in the next break. On the Clock is coming up. More of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show right after this.
I bought a house in Cabo to shake off my cargo. It went a little bit far.
Good morning, people. First guy. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Your boy DJ Stupid James Over Williams is in the building. Good morning to you.
Ask me how it feels. A space feels too real. When you pick up speed, what's pitch black weed?
Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We got more coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show on the Clock with Georgia Ford is coming up next. Up Brother Ben, Brother Mac. Good morning, y'all. What's going on and on it goes. Brother Chuck Diesel. Laura Estrada, what's going on? Good morning, Laura. Computer Geek, Starshine Song Dragon, Esther Bronson, Stitches Stilettos. What's going on, sister? Good to see you. Scully Wright, what's going on? Miss Truth the Dragon, what's up, Truth? Shout out to the homie Rico that's watching us tuning in this morning. What up, Rico? Mom and Daddy, I know you out there somewhere. Good morning, Mom and Daddy. Shout out, Brother Lateef. What's up, Lateef? Rachel, good morning. Hollywood, man. Good morning. What's going on? Lady Lou, Barbara Iman, what's up, her? Mary C, good morning to you. Afraid Night. Afraid Night. Oh, Brother Tiger, what's up? Indian Brown, what's going on to you? Good morning, everybody. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We got more coming up. Hey, Miss Sophia. I see you, girl. You better watch out. Good morning, y'all. Lily, good morning.
She wanna know me. I stay low key, all gas, no brakes, baby. Let them hoes sleep. Body on 10, make your girl OD. I get in my way, never out of my lane. Feel like you the one and I'm on one. So what it's gonna be? Baby, squad up, we finna go deep. Riding on a team, got what you need. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me some.
Nicole, how good morning?
I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down. When I hit the town, you should slide on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all love. Everything good. Keep the vibes on crush. I know it's all good. Know it's all love. Know it's all love.
The big piece, what's going on, sir?
To a fanny up, fanny up. I made it where I'm at on my own. Had a couple blocks in the road, but I get to
Truth the Dragon says, joke. Why did the seagull fly over the sea? Truth flies, truth.
Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I come in town, you should slide on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all love. Everything good. Keep the vibes on crush. I know it's all good. Know it's all love.
Truth, I got one plate while we wait for the seagull flew over the field and flew over the bay here. Bagel. A bagel. Terrible. What do you call a bedpan in Russia? What do you call a bedpan in Russia? A booty pin. I mean, right week, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Yep, man. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. On the Clock is coming up next to Georgia Ford here on the Benjamin Dixon. I want to show y'all good morning.
Brand new rolling, swipe out the G-Shock. Moving slowly, I know the street hype. No more double, go ahead and detox. Yeah. Came from the trenches, they ain't showing us no love. Thugging in the city, all we wanted was a hug, yeah. We on the block like every night to catch a buzz. Get the cash and tell my family out the hood, that's a must. Was a hood baby with no soldiers.
Brother Bryce, what's going on? Good morning to you.
I should have died, that's why it's hard to stay sober. Glad to see the sun, but my heart getting colder. Life's so crazy, what we been through. When you die, the only time that they gon' miss you. Tell my mama, no more tears, no more tissue. Ooh, just some hood baby with some issues. Hood baby from the struggle. Long time had a hustle. Glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Hood baby from the struggle. Long time had a hustle. I'm glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Pull up in that rain, see me ballin'. Yeah, 30 piece on my wrist like I'm Harden. Either they love me or I'm a target. Cause the eyes on me is flawless. I've been busy and picking up when you callin'. And on purpose, I hate the fact when you talking. With anything.
All right, y'all, it is time on the clock with Georgia Ford. Good morning, Georgia Ford. Good morning, Brother Ben, Brother Matt. Good morning, y'all. It's time on the clock. Good morning.
The verdict came out yesterday in a federal trial for the men who were charged with killing Ahmad Aubry. And this verdict came down probably, I'd say, early afternoon. All three men charged with killing Ahmad Aubry were found guilty on all federal charges. Of course, the family did feel pleased with this verdict, but Ahmad's mother expressed her discontentment with the prosecutors because they actually offered them a plea deal. I want you guys to take a listen from coverage from yesterday's verdict announcement.
I want to address the members of the DOJ. I'm very thankful that you guys brought these charges of hate crime. But back on January the 31st, you guys accepted a plea deal with these 3 murderers who took my son's life. Marcus and 2 of Ahmad's aunties stood before the courts and begged the judge not to take a plea deal that the DOJ that the DOJ went before the judge and asked them to take a plea deal with these guys.
We did. That's a mother. Yes, sir.
Attorney Ben Crump just called these women, just called her name, Kristen Clark.
Yes.
As I traveled to Brunswick on that Sunday afternoon, I spoke to Kristen Clark and the lead attorney, Tara Lyons, begging them to please not take this plea deal. They ignored my cry.
All right.
I begged them.
Yes, you did.
Even after the family stood before the judge and asked the judge to not take this plea deal, the lead prosecutor, Tara Lyons, stood up and asked the judge to ignore the family's cry. That's not justice for Ahmad.
Come on. Right.
What we got today, we would have gotten today if it wasn't for the fight that the family. What the DOJ did today, they was made to do today.
Come on.
It wasn't because what they wanted to do.
Taxpayers.
They were made to do their job today. So again, we got a victory today. But there's so many families out there who don't get victories because of people that we have fighting for us.
Now, it's interesting because Ahmad's mother clearly stated her stance and her discontentment with prosecutors. But Ben, just before she talked about her discontentment, we heard from attorney Ben Crump and Brother Carmack. He was actually really pleased and thanked the prosecutors for their work on this case. And I was having some conversation around this. You know, why would attorney Crump express his gratitude to the prosecutors when clearly Ahmad's mother was not happy that this prosecutor had made a plea deal? And, you know, I've interviewed Crump several times. I know there's people feel differently about him. Some people love him. Some people hate him. The man's pretty effective in doing his job, but there's a piece of his work from my observation, and this is just my observation, that is a bit political because he represents so many people across the country, and he currently has pending litigations, both federally and in different states. You know, he can't throw the prosecutors under the bus because he's working with them still on other cases, and he needs them to produce similar results. And so in this case, yes, Ahmad's mom pleased with the outcome, but very disappointed that prosecutors made a plea deal.
Yeah. Dr. Mack.
Well, listen, there's a part of me, and I think, Georgia, what you was well, first of all, good morning, Sister Ford. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think there's a part of what you was alluding to as you was telling the story. You know, I could see, okay, we got a backlog of cases. We done wrap this one up. Hey, what do we need to wrap this one up? Okay. Hey, I'll take the plea. Okay, very good, very good. Let's move on to the next case because we got this one won already. Did the check come? Did the family get their money? Okay. Don't worry about that technicality. Let's just move on. I mean, there's a part of me. And see, when I'm listening to Mama, see, Mama ain't cutting no corners. Mama calling names. So I got a sense that Mama must have said to Mr. Crump, don't you you dare. And you know how mamas can get.
You're right.
So as the story is unfolding, and as you just laid that out, Sister Ford, in my mind, that's what I'm seeing is I got a backlog of cases. I got to get to the next one. We done wrap this one up. We done got the family paid. We done got paid. Let's get to the next one. And then the DOJ, okay, let's just go ahead, take a plea deal. Let's not put no more time and effort into this thing. We done did what we need to do. We feel like that's enough justice. No, fam. Ain't no such thing as enough justice.
Wow.
We want all of our justice. We want it here and we want it now. Mama, you touched my soul when you was talking, and I love the fact that you was calling names, sister girl.
That's right. That's right. The name calling, dropping of the receipts, the stuff that we would not have known going on behind the scenes if Ahmad Arbery's mother had not done that. And I do see exactly what you're saying, Dr. Mack. It is a
business.
It's an idea of enough justice is anathema to justice itself, right? Justice has to go all the way.
Yes.
And then just the fact that today, David just reminded us, it was on the screen. Today marks 2 years to the date that those three men took Ahmad Arbery's life. So if there's ever a time for justice, it's right now.
Absolutely. And, I think, circling back to the point about Attorney Crump, he's not he wasn't a decision maker in this trial. He wasn't a prosecutor. He was where they're representing the family usually in the civil cases and the civil litigation, right? And I think more so than anything, he uses his platform to help make some of these cases higher profile. And so while people critique him, I have personally seen a case that no one paid attention to here in Minneapolis, the case of Kelvin Horton. People trying to sweep that case under the rug, and he came in and he represented that family. And there was a lot of press coverage around it just because he associated with himself with it. And so I've seen the benefits of his representation for these families. And I just wanted to distinguish that I think it's the DOJ that felt like they got enough justice. And I think Crump, from the conversations I've overheard, and a lot of these were not recorded conversations, just sidebars that I heard him have with families. He really does try to push for them and achieve all of their objectives. But the DOJ in this case, right, who he did thank, and I think that was the political move, because he has to work with the DOJ again. He needs the DOJ to come through and try to help him get some of the objectives that his families are seeking. And in this case, the woman who Ahmad's mom called out is actually a Black woman, even, and so, it's unfortunate, especially, I mean, in the details, when you look 2 years ago, I mean, not only did these three men hunt Ahmad down, it took them 10 weeks, 10 and a half weeks before they even made an arrest. What I want to know is what is going to happen to the district attorney who's charged with obstruction of justice, because we're remembering the 2-year anniversary. Crump is applauding the DOJ for this win. The mother's criticizing them for the plea deal. But what I want to know is what's up with that district attorney? Right. Because we know that part of the reason why these three men were not arrested right away was because of the district attorney. She was protecting her former employee. And again, these are not unsubstantiated claims. The woman has been arrested and charged with obstruction of justice. And so I hope that they have just as much transparency in her case. And I hope that they don't make a plea deal in her case, because it needs to set a clear example. The other piece with, I believe it's Jackie Johnson is the district attorney's name, that some charges be brought forth with the way that she helped obstruct justice in the death of Kelsey Rayner.
And Georgia, let me say this. There is no doubt that we have watched, at least I have watched, in admiration, what Brother Crump has done. I think in this case, and sometimes that success, all of us have to be very leery of when we achieve that kind of success, that now we kind of begin to lose our humility here. And I hope that he could look back on this situation and say, you know what, should I ever be offered, the feds come to me ever again, DOJ ever comes to me again, I check with the family before I sign off on it. Because again, it's about what the family needs to feel whole. And the mother, I think the Ahmad Arbery case, from beginning to where it is now, can be summed up in the words of the mother: made them have to do it. So what you were talking about, Georgia, is that when they first got this videotape and they saw this brother being hunted down, the local prosecutors did nothing. They had to be made to do something.
That's right.
The DOJ didn't finish justice. They had to be made to do it. So in the words of the mother, from beginning to end, if there wasn't this push, justice would not have rained down like righteousness, like waters from a righteous stream. That wouldn't have happened. In this case of Black folks, it had to be made to do it. And Sister Georgia, Ben and I were just talking about the women of color from yesterday's case, from Meek Mill's case, how we, women of color and men of color, sit inside this system. And it speaks to how just strangling this system is, that even when you need to go in there with an understanding of historically what has happened to our people as a result of that system, yet you can go in that system and then end up doing the exact same thing.
That's right. That's the part. That's the part, Brother Mac and Sister Ford, that really is a little bit triggering here. Because while I applaud the professionalism, the efficiency, and the efficacy of Black folks, I mean, it's not just Black women, like you said, Dr. Mack. It's when Black folks get into the seat of empire and they get into this judicial system, they're so good at their jobs that they become efficient carriers of white supremacy. They become efficient executors of white supremacy through this judicial system. And I know that that's a personal struggle for them, but they also have to realize it now becomes a collective struggle for all of us, because now we have to learn and deal with how do we navigate people in our community who are now, they have our skin color, but they don't have our best interest in mind, because they are effective oath keepers and efficient executors of this empire.
I couldn't have said that better myself, and while we're talking about federal cases, my heart is heavy today because I found out that the deliberations in the federal trial for the other three officers.
Don't you say it. Don't
deliberations begin today.
Oh, whew.
And so we'll find out, how that verdict will go. But what concerns me is, according to the reporter who was in the courtroom, and I had to make a decision on whether to keep covering the federal trial here or to start covering the fatal shooting of Amir Locke. And so I felt that it was more important to provide coverage on Amir Locke in that moment. Right. But according to reporters who were in the courtroom yesterday, the judge sent home the only Asian woman who was on the jury. And so unless he brings her back today, that means that the deliberations will be conducted by an all-white jury. There's a protest happening at 11:30.
Time out, Georgia. Time out. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry, Georgia. You mean to tell me the jury, as it exists now, the only diversity on that jury is an Asian woman? Is that what you're telling us?
Well, and she was sent home yesterday.
Wow.
Now, okay, Georgia, I'm sorry. Proceed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, I think it's difficult because, right, you can't bring cameras into a federal courtroom. And so at this point, I'm 100% dependent on the notes of the reporters who are in the courtroom. So, I found out late last night that jury deliberations would begin today, and that, and they send, 8 pages of notes. And like, out of everything, that was the one thing that stood out to me. And I just thought it was crazy in watching local and national coverage about this case that deliberations would start
Georgia,
tomorrow. And
I'm sorry, Georgia.
people are just
I'm-
they're not even mentioning the fact that this woman was sent home, and I haven't been able to find significant
That's
reason
insane.
as to
Georgia,
why.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Brother Mac ain't having it today. Brother Mac, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Georgia. But I need to ask you a very clear question again. Are you telling me and Ben and all of our viewers that the other 3 officers that are going through this legal process for the murder of George Floyd, that jury currently consists of one person of diversity, and it is an Asian woman? Georgia, are you telling us there ain't no Black people on that jury? Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, and to take it a step further, I'm telling you that the judge sent the Asian woman
yes
home.
or no, please.
She said,
Yes, that's what but yes, and she was sent home.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
the
an
part.
all-white jury. Unless the judge brings her back today, she was sent home, and it's not clear why. And this is the federal case for these 3 officers. In the federal case, they're charged with violating George Floyd's civil rights throughout this trial. All 3 of them took the stand in their own defense. Now, regardless of the outcome of this trial, these 3 officers will also be facing state charges. That trial, I believe, will be televised, but that one doesn't start until June.
So Georgia, just a question. Since they facing federal charges, the DOJ, the same folks from the Ahmad Arbery case, that kind of group is in this case too, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And that group that had to be made to do the right thing is now over these 3. And they seem to think it was okay to have a jury over arguably the most triggering murder, obviously, in the history of this country for at least over the last 25 years. And they was okay with the fact that their federal jury ain't got no Black folk on it. Is that what?
And here's another. This is the perfect example of why someone like Crump, right, who also represented the Floyd family, can't completely throw the DOJ under the bus, because he needs them to produce justice in this case too, right? There's multiple federal litigations that are happening right now, and you are at the mercy of the DOJ and the federal prosecutors all the way up until the verdict comes out. You're at their mercy to present the evidence in a compelling way to make your case. You're at their mercy to convince the jurors that these defendants are guilty of what they did, right?
My goodness.
See, Georgia, I don't know, Ben, and both of y'all got to help me. See, I don't believe in playing politics on something like that. When I got the receipts, I don't care if you like me or don't like me, I got the receipts to prove your guilt. And so with that, I don't know where the that part of it,
I get that.
Call me naive, but
yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I understand. How do you navigate a system that's designed to kill you?
Yeah,
and I feel like that's kind of what all of us are dealing with, including. But here, I do have one question. I'm sorry we're interrogating you, because you're really our only source on this, because there's not a lot of people who are giving us this information. Right. What was the justification for dismissing, or did they even give a justification?
I haven't been able to find it.
There's so they dismissed the only source of diversity, which was not even. I mean, honestly, at this point, the Black officer is in trouble. If we just go based on American history, that Black officer who's on trial might be alienated. This is how twisted America is. And we don't even have a justification as to why the only semblance of diversity on the jury was dismissed. My God, that's all.
I'll keep looking for it. And I'll definitely follow up with the reporters who were in the courtroom. But according to their notes, it was just kind of like a blurb. I didn't see it. So I'll keep looking for it. But we're following that today, deliberations beginning in that case. And, when I started off in this transition to talk about this story specifically, I said my heart is heavy, because in the city of Minneapolis, there has been a progression. There's been a progression following the murder of Amir Locke and then the sentencing of Kim Potter only being 2 years, and now these deliberations. I just feel like things could take a turn here really quick.
But Georgia and Ben, I think one of the things we need to start doing is we need to start on these high profile cases. We need to keep track of people of color who are in positions to render justice, but then show a lack of sensitivity and understanding historically to what has happened to us, and then act in accordance with this system that's meant to strangle us. So Sister Ford, just like when you said the woman with the DOJ was a black woman, the woman who was on trial for Kim Potter, an Asian woman, we need to list them so that we can now begin to put pressure on folks that look like us who are in those positions, because we wanted them to bring some type of sensitivity to us, and instead they ain't drinking red Kool-Aid, they're drinking some other color.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sister Ford, as always, thank you so much for what you're doing. We can't do this without you.
Thank you, sister.
We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show after this.
So, tell me what it is, what you want from me.
Good morning again, everybody. Make sure that you stay tuned. Make sure that you stay tuned. Like it or not, it's starting the next year on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Good morning, everybody.
Get myself out it. Don't talk about it, boy. They said you gotta be about it. So I be trying to face the world head on. Front seat riding, cruising down the meadows. Pedal to the meadow. Cool breeze blowing down the windows. Calm trees blowing trees. Get that boy some headroom. On the interstate in traffic, but I swerve out. So what's the moves for the night? What's the word now? What's the links? Hit me up, we could go now. I got hella pieces, she got hella features. Get me hella geeked up, she be blowing shisha.
Angela Newman, good morning.
Hope them boys don't creep up. I don't know.
Sandy, good morning to you. XOXXO Bob, good morning.
Don't try to girl, tell me what you want. Don't be trying to front like I ain't what you want. I ain't here to stun, let me take you out for lunch. I'ma get you drunk, yeah.
Mama, good morning, Mama. Looks like Mama finally decided to go to the bed.
Girl showing up, but I don't give a fuck, cause you the one I want, girl, you the one I want. Girl, you the one I want. Hey, come and show me love. Shorty wanna be a rider, and I'm feeling high, I can't deny it. She a bad joint named Maya, and when I seen her, man, she look fire.
Hello, girls, what's up, Nat?
Good morning. So I'm trying to feel how I feel inside her. I asked her what she doing, she like nada. So she
Alicia, good morning.
In the shower, I said, alright, cool, I'ma be there in an hour. I just wanna live like a Kuna and Matata. I ain't got no time for no baby mama drama. All about my comments, my letters, no tomatoes.
William Moore, good morning to you.
They got up in their wallet. Ain't no really telling if we let her see tomorrow. Get it on my own, I ain't really trying to bar. So I stay
don't forget,
fly,
y'all, don't forget. Patron party this weekend on Friday. The Ultra Black Edition. Gonna be black, y'all. Black.
Tell me
black.
What it is.
Black like what my camera called.
What you want from me.
Black like the black hole that's in the sky.
Tell me what it is, don't tell me what it ain't. They try to
blacker than the darkest part of night. Outside in the Memphis somewhere. You can't see nothing in front of your face.
Talk about it, boy, they said you gotta be about it. So I be trying to face the world head on. Front seat riding, cruising down the meadows. Pedal to the meadow. Cool breeze blowing down the windows. Calm trees blowing trees. Get that boy some headroom.
Y'all make sure y'all there, man. You would not want to miss it. It is going to be a jam session. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Come in your black attire. That's what it is. We come in your black attire. Let's see, all black, everything. You got it. Kente cloth. All of it, man. I want to see all of it. We're gonna have a good time on Friday. So make sure that you have your face in the place. Don't miss it. Good morning, everybody. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. What's coming up next year on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show? Like it or not, starting up next.
Just give it up. I'm not your girl, and I never will be.
Frankie Graham Jr. Foundation, good morning to you. Courtney the SLP, good morning, sister.
I'm not your girl, cause I only love me. Don't get me wrong. You and I could have fun together when I
Jason, good morning to you, Jason.
To care for yourself, not rely on somebody else. So don't get me wrong, I'm just riding alone. Just walk away, 'cause I got no intentions of hanging out with
Latina Mavune, good morning to you.
my way. If you want a problem, I'll give you a problem, alright. If you want love, just give it up. You got the wrong
Christopher Shaw, good morning. Y'all, it's been months since I bought the book, How to Scam People Online. Months since I bought the book, right? It still hasn't arrived yet. I think I got it. Pronos, good morning to you. Boondocks Dragon, good morning. Shelly H, good morning to you. Shut the hell up, man. Leroy, good morning. Yeah, man, Ben. I'm gonna say all of it. Let me stop. I gotta say this one again. What do you call an anti-vax nanny? What do you call an anti-vax nanny? What do you call an anti-vax nanny? Mrs. Pfizer. Congratulations to my mama, y'all. Mama got a part-time job yesterday because she was bored. I'm like, Mama, you don't need to work, but she got a part-time job now. So congratulations, Mama. You know, that's all these people out of his job already know she is. Pablo Suarez, good morning. Here's a throwback for y'all. Depending on how much time I got, I might have one more throwback that I can play for y'all. Y'all is stupid. Y'all ain't not gonna do Rebecca Long Let in the chat over here. Y'all even got our guests laughing.
No, it just can't hurt me. No.
Black Dragon, what's going on? What's up, man? I'm glad you had fun. I know I did. Y'all was over there doing and I enjoyed y'all a whole lot.
My mama used to tell me, gotta
F-A-L Flaw Dragon. F-A-L Flaw Dragon, good morning to you.
I'm staying 10 toes down, though I still might fall. Oh yeah, now I done came through.
Good morning.
Cause loving people who persecute you, it's still a tough light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my flesh still kinda weak. When that victory be looking like the verge of defeat, and I feel like disrespect comes on my other cheek. And say sticks and stones may break my bone.
Mr. Roo, good morning.
No, you just can't hurt me. No,
okay, I got it.
Right. More than I've been wrong, and it still can't hurt me. No, it just can't hurt me. No.
Brother Tyler, good morning, Tyler. Promises manifested, good morning to you.
No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, no, no. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't.
All right, y'all, I think we are ready to go.
It's hard to be polite. It's easy being petty. Mama used to tell me, gotta use you when you're ready. Cause I ain't working on my own timing. Ain't got no diamonds on me, but I stay shining. Yeah, yeah. They say the world would be a better place if we take out the hate. Stop all the hate right now. Yeah. Let's keep it real, it'd be better if we just subtract the fake. Yeah, so be a light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my flesh still kind of.
Y'all know what time it is when you hear this song, when you hear this voice, when you hear this sound. It's time for Like It or Not. Yeah. Y'all know what time it is. Good morning, y'all. Jacob, good morning to you. Tell me right what's going on. It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. 9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like It or Not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture is we change skin like we supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news, we get to choose what gets the views. Like It or Not with Queen Azor, get started now, so stick around. Like it or not, it's going down. Yeah, it is, man, because I'm on 2 different channels, that's why. Y'all stick around. What they see our country was morning. You know she got a this dragon nigga, what's up, man? Good story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my roll the dragon. You have given me an idea, and I'm about to roll with it. I got you. Elizabeth Lawson, good morning. DJ Squeedy, that song. Y'all know who I am. I stay dropping them jams. Like it or not. Shout out from the KFC in the building. It's going down. Like it or not. Y'all stick around. Morning, T-Tweety as well. Like it or not. All right, y'all, it's that time to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, y'all.
It's the turnaround for me. It's for those of y'all who are listening, I apologize. You did not get to see Dr. Mack turn around like a spy. I don't know what that was.
He did.
Welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
And we don't care if you like it or not.
That's close enough.
Hey, Ben. Hey, my bad, guys. But look, let me tell you what I was so engrossed in. Yesterday, I get this in the mail. I know y'all know what that is.
I can't really see it. What is it?
It's a ticket.
Oh.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. People ask me all the time, Doc, why don't you ever leave the house? Like you like 10 miles from DC. Because I'm gonna tell you something about DC family, whether they want to tell you the truth or not. They got cameras hidden all over DC.
Oh yeah.
Look, man, I'm going down the street. Now,
make sure your address don't show on that, Dr. Mack.
Okay, look, I'm going down the street, bro. And I'm telling you right now, this thing looks like a mini highway. And they're telling me they got a speed limit posted of 25.
What?
Houseway.
I'm doing 40. So now I get $150 ticket. And then they tell me, hey, if you don't get it in time, it'll be $300.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
But the bad part about it is Atlanta has them all over the place too. And when I tell you going through these, sometimes you think you're going under that yellow light, you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
No, that camera. Once you see that camera flash, like, damn, they got me.
See,
I be hating those flashes.
Like 2 times. Yes, bro.
See, now, I gotta believe that this is the chocolatest of cities. This is their way of reaching us. This is their way. The folks in Atlanta probably, because I gotta believe that the folks in Atlanta were like, "Oh, that's the way y'all doing it in DC." Okay, so now
they do it like that in Atlanta.
Here they go in Atlanta following DC mode. Because I'm telling you, I don't want to drive nowhere near DC. I don't want to drive. Period. I want to get on my electric scooter and just go down the street to wherever it is I gotta go, and then get back in the house.
I can see Dr. Mack driving down the streets in one of these scooters. Let me bring in. Listen, I want to bring in. I want to bring in friend of the show, our sister from another Mr. Ole. I just say Ole because I'm one of those American. I'm one of those Americanized accents that can't pronounce simple names. Ole, how you doing?
Ole, Lauren.
Miami.
Ole, see, damn it.
That's why I didn't try. That's why I didn't try.
You got confident too.
Listen, it be like that. And confidence is what you need, though. That's the right approach.
I didn't even try.
Morning, y'all.
Listen, Ole, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I got connected to your work because of your advocacy, particularly around Rikers.
Yes.
And you are leading a campaign that I want all of our supporters to not only know about, but get behind and support. We have your media, we have some images, and we have a video. But before we go to any of that content, tell us about the campaign that you're leading and you're a part of as it pertains to Rikers Island.
So how this happened, actually, funny enough, I was reading Huey Newton in my house, and Huey Newton talked a lot about how, we can't offer the people conclusions. We have to offer them new understandings, right? And we have to offer them solutions and new creative understandings. And he said, as a part of that, that was the vision and going into the Black Panther Party, and that's why they, developed their 10-point program, and that's why they had, they would bus people to the prisons. And when I was reading that, I'm like, that's an excellent idea, right? Like the reason why the Black Panthers had that idea was because that's a need. So many Black people are incarcerated disproportionately, and these prisons are intentionally placed where you can't visit. They're outside of, they're very far. So you can't see your family, you can't see who's there. And all of that is an intentional effort. But in the course of reading that, I thought to myself, well, I spend every day making noise about Rikers. Every day I try to get attention to Rikers and to get people to understand that the people at Rikers are not different than you and I. These are everyday people that just don't have the money for bail. And what I noticed in trying to gain attention to that was that whenever I show people pictures of Rikers, or I tell people, oh, Rikers is a pretrial detention center, or what these numbers actually are, people didn't know that. They didn't know that information, and it made it so much more real for them when they saw those pictures. So I said, well, if photos make it real to people, imagine if I took them to Rikers. So I picked up the phone and I called the president of the Black Attorneys at the Legal Aid Society, my king, Zamir Bendan, and I said, Zamir, what's stopping us from, getting buses, getting someone to pay for some buses and filling these buses with people and taking them to Rikers? And Zamir was like, it's a good idea. Like, he's like, bring that to the group. So I brought that to the group, and, believe it or not, I can't believe we were actually able to get it done, but we got Color of Change to sponsor us, Freedom Agenda, and the Urban Justice Center. And right now we officially just closed the sign up for the buses today. We have 220 RSVPs, I think. So we're yeah, so we're taking
So Ole, I'm sorry. So the folks at Riker has absolutely okay for you to bring in folks to see the conditions, the number of Black folks.
Now they're not gonna want to let us in, but we are taking, they don't want to let us in, but we are taking everybody there. But we have elected officials there speaking, Kristen Richardson, we have Tiffany Caban, we have Corey Provost, we have lots of politicians and journalists that are going to be there. We have legal observers, we have security. So we're going to have an entire rally outside of there and demand these releases. And beautifully enough, we have elected officials on the same board. So it's not just people talking, but we have elected officials behind us on this demand for release. I even heard that Khalif Browder's brothers are planning on attending, and that really made my day. So that I'm actually really, really thrilled to take people, because this is important. This is really important. And I think it's very hard. It's hard to access Rikers, even as an attorney. It's not there. First of all, they make it so, the average person can't just go inside. That even now,
that's right.
They would die before they let me take 200 people inside Rikers to see what's up. But I'm going to take you as close as I can. I'm going to take you as close as I can. I'm going to have cameras there. I'm going to have people there, and we're gonna call for this, because 15 people have already died in Rikers in the last year, and that's unacceptable. And I can't keep it going like that. So the best that I could do to radicalize people to see what the situation really is, that's what I really want to do. So I'm thrilled, because this is an idea I came up with in my house, and I can't believe I got all these people with the money and the backing to do it. But we're filling the buses. They're filled.
So Ole, my question is it to address the conditions of Riker and the number of Black folks who are wrongfully incarcerated? Is it both or one or the other?
All of that, because so Rikers has an over 90% Black and brown racial makeup. That's insane.
Like, that is absolutely insane. New York City is a hugely diverse population. We do not make up the vast majority. Black and brown people are not making up the whole of the New York City population. We make up, maybe collectively, all of the people of color make up maybe like 40-something%. We are over 90% of the Rikers population. If you see those photos, if you saw those photos where they have 40, 50 people in one cell on top of each other, all you see are people that look like me and you. And
okay, so Olay, the reason I was asking is because, again, and I've been saying to Ben that I watched the whole documentary on Meek Mills, and Meek has said that he's dedicating, he's committed to trying to address this issue, and he so much has said at the end of his program, which I felt the sincerity of it is, look, let's drop the hashtag Meek Mills and let's start addressing all these other folks who need so much help. Right. And clearly, there was some big money that came behind him. So, have you tried to reach out to Meek? To
Meek Mill? Yeah. No, I never. I wish I had Meek Mill connections. I'm gonna try. Just because you encouraged me. I'm gonna send.
And Olay, the only reason I'm doing it is because when you looked at his story and you heard his words of where he was talking about, he made his documentary is a very compelling documentary for the very things that you, our queen, are addressing, and my heart is warm. So you need to be able to tell me, where can I send a donation to this effort?
I will.
So
I will
I
give
can
you
put my
all
money behind my mouth and the love and appreciation for what you're doing.
Yeah. I will
that's
give
the
you
reason
all
why
the
I'm saying,
information.
if there's any way that you could reach out, and I would even go so far as reaching out to the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, because he was the one that put his billions behind the team that got Meek out, and you may try that route. But
I'm gonna honestly, I'm gonna do that. I'm interested in any support, big names, whoever wants to support. I will welcome that support to the cause. I think, something I realize, and again, this is through reading, is a lot of us as Black people don't have access to these. We just don't. We don't have the access to these kinds of markets. We know what the system is. We know a certain level of racial injustice, because if we're not seeing and experiencing it in ourselves, somebody next to us is or has, right? But we don't actually have these connections to be able to get to these places, to get involved, to do these or whatever. And that was when I realized, I said, you know what? As a Black attorney, I am especially situated to make this happen, right? I'm making all this noise. I'm able to do this. I could say this in a way and not deal with a certain level of repercussion that other people might. Like, people have jobs, private jobs, all these different things. I happen to be in a position where my job is this, you know what I mean? Or my job, at the very least, is going to support this. I could do this. So I was like, if somebody has to jump out on the limb and be the person, to make the noise and go to these organizations and say, hey, could you do this? I was like, I'm gonna do it. But yes, I am very much so taking them. Anybody, the rally is on February 28th. That Monday, it starts at gates of Rikers at noon. The buses are filled, which you can meet us there at the rally at noon if you want to attend, and we welcome that. And also the day before at Mayday Space, and if you click the link that is in the flyer, it'll give you that information now. The day before, you can come out to our action on making signs and doing everything that we need to do. But we've got this underway, and I'm really, really excited to see this turnout. I can't believe we made it happen, and I'm thrilled.
Oh, I can.
Yes,
I can.
All my people in New York. That means y'all need to pull up. New York.
Yeah.
All our listeners, viewers, everybody, pull up. Pull up,
dude. If I wasn't opposed to getting in on a plane during the pandemic, I would pull up myself, Ole. And the other thing is, I honestly, I'm not surprised that you pulled this off. I am excited because you are the person who can do it, right?
Thank
and I want to salute you.
Amen.
Salute you. The only thing that I dream of in the future is one day you and me, gonna be like Harlem Nights, and we're gonna pull up to the jail at Rikers, and we're gonna bail everybody out.
Let me tell you something.
With limousines.
I wish you let me get some bread, okay? Listen,
we bailing everybody out,
and they know why. Let me tell you something. There's one thing about me. I got a little bit of access, a little bit of money. It goes towards my people every time. I'm like, don't let my foot in the door, because as soon as I do it, I'm like, hey. You know this issue? I was like, I talked to my people. We have a problem.
Oh man, listen, we have a video of yours that you put together. I want to play that clip. Let's take a look at what's going on.
Rikers is infamous, but less people realize that Rikers is a pre-trial detention center. They spent about $860 million locking up poor Black and brown New Yorkers because they don't have the money to pay for their freedom before they have their trial. It's inhumane. It is a humanitarian crisis. It has been declared a state of emergency. 15 people have already died in Rikers this year, and it cannot continue. People need to be released. So on February 28th, the last day of Black History Month, the Black attorneys of the Legal Aid Society, Color of Change, Freedom Agenda, and the Urban Justice Center are putting on this rally at Rikers. We are providing the buses. You only need to sign up. We will take you there. We will have the protest. We will have the rally. Help us be a part of change and get people released from Rikers now.
All right, Queen.
Y'all give it up for my sister.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, y'all. Thank you. I'm trying.
No, you ain't, Queen. You doing, baby.
You doing. Right, Dr. Matt.
Listen, thank you. It honestly, it means I think I have the added perspective I have of not being from America is it's not like this. You know what I mean? In my country, this reality where people just get locked up all the time, like for silliness, for nonsense. Like for you to get locked up in the Bahamas, for you to get locked up in the Bahamas, you had to be criming, like killing people. Like that's the kind of things that people don't realize. It is like what people are in for Rikers are just not things that make sense. Like of the 15 people that died, if you look at them, they died for accused of stealing a single bear at the bodega. You know, a dollar bail is set on somebody. You know what I mean? Silly, frivolous things that you're not only subjecting people to the worst experiences of their life, but you're possibly taking their life. Like there's no reason that people should be locked. Like I can't even imagine psychologically what it must feel like to be literally locked in a place and you can't get out and you have to fend for your life. You're worried about being beaten, sexually assaulted, you know, prisoner violence or whatever. And that's on top of if you make it out. If you make it out and for what? Because you don't have the money to pay bail. And that's just not something I could live with. Every day it bothers me. And so I'm just like, every day I'm going to find a different way to approach this problem. And this is my latest effort.
If you all would allow me
to
juxtapose my favorite word.
Here we go.
This case that we just got through talking about, James, I ain't studying. It's because this is the 19 officers in Austin, Texas, who were indicted for abuse against protesters during the George Floyd protest of 2020. 19 officers have been indicted. 8 of those officers, Ole, got a single dollar bail.
Yes.
Like we're talking about people who cause brain damage to some. A person lost their jaw. I mean, it is egregious. And now we have these brothers in Rikers. And I saw the images. If we could find those images, Ole, if you could shoot us that tweet, because you have a tweet up that shows our boys packed in Rikers like a slave ship. And they're dying because they can't afford bail versus these cops who got a dollar bail.
Yeah, and not only got a dollar bail, but then the city of Austin paid out how much, Ben?
$10 million.
Right.
$10 million.
What?
Right. And that's the problem is we're paying for that. I think like that's something that's important for us to like talk about. We are paying these officers when they refuse to hold these officers criminally responsible. We can't hold them civilly responsible individually. But what happens is the police departments get sued and we, the taxpayers, are paying for the officers that are out in the streets, abusing us, profiling us, arresting us, killing us. That's insane. That's not where I want my tax money going.
Yes.
That's right.
And Ole and Ben, let me be sure, family, that we put this together for you real nice and neatly. The brothers at Riker, the bail is placed so high, they can't afford to pay for their bail, so they lock them up at Rikers.
Right. And it's not on purpose.
Crimes. It doesn't matter what their situation is. They could have stole a Snicker bar. You can't pay for it, they put you in Rikers. Now, the 19 officers in Houston who caused brain damage to a brother and the city of Houston had to pay $10 million when they got indicted. The judge said to 8 of them, I'm going to make your bail $1. And then that $10 million that the city of Houston paid out, that came from Ben Dixon's pockets, from DJ's pocket, from Ole's pocket, from my pocket, and y'all's pocket. Yeah. That's the way this system is played. You want to talk about pimping at its best.
You know,
that's it.
This system is insane and unjust. And you know what I think is funny? And where I take appreciation in the level of disrespect in the amount of ways that they play in our face in plain day and gaslight us is this. People will try and paint people out like me out to be like a radical, right? Like I'm crazy, or I'm making out this disproportionate world that you could see. But what I love is when I tell you that you shouldn't lock up poor people and set this kind of bail on them or subject them to the criminal system and yada yada yada, they can't even stomach that, right? The people that enforce this system, maintain this system, use the system, love the system, that's what they say. But the minute it's their own actors accused of far heinous things, they aren't hearing it. They aren't hearing it. So how do you want me to believe that you should lock up my people for fights and because they stole something and petty and all these things? But when you murder people, when you beat people, when you assault people in plain day, it's supposed to be all good. It's supposed to. So I can't look at that kind of hypocrisy and think that I'm not supposed to do this fight. So what I love for me is when I see that, I'm like, good. It's confirmation that exactly what I believe to be reality, exactly what I know to be reality is. And that's a reality I can't live with. So we got to keep addressing it. We got to keep resisting it because this is insane. It's absolutely insane. And it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Police are allowed to do these things as though they are above us. Their lives are above us. It's this justification effort after the fact. And we know it because think about it like this. And I always say this. Everybody, the vast majority of the people in the criminal system, are represented by a public defender, meaning they are dirt poor. And the court and the system knows that. They know that. They assigned them the public defender because you know that they're poor. And the same people that just assigned them the public defender because they're poor are the same people that say, hey, set the bail up here. You know what I mean? Because they know their literal goal is to make it so these people, because you don't have money, you don't have the ability to stop me, you can't fight me back. This is what I'm going to do to you. That's what it's about. That's what they do. And then they do that and they do all these things in the color of night behind courtroom doors.
Ole, they also do it right in front of your eyes.
Oh, sure do.
I want people, so Ole, when you was telling the story, it triggered a thought in my mind that I remembered this particular case. Do you remember the name Duncan Hunter?
No, actually.
Duncan Hunter was a representative from California who was taking election campaign money and spending it in every shape, form, and fashion for his own personal needs.
I'm with you.
And he ended up being investigated by the federal government. He threw his wife under the bus and said his wife did it. His wife signed an agreement, got ready to flip evidence on him. Then all of a sudden, he decides to plead guilty and told everybody he made a horrible, horrible mistake. They sentenced him. And before he could spend one day in jail, although he had been lying about this for years, Trump pardoned him.
That's right.
Unapologetically, Trump granted him a pardon, then turned around, granted his wife a pardon. Nobody spent no time in jail. So to your point, when they want to talk about you being insane, it reminds me again of the way that Richard Williams protected Venus and Serena's when he was putting them on the path to stardom, and they wanted to call him crazy for what he was doing.
Right.
That's right.
They want to look at Jennifer Capriati's daddy and mama and how they're driving these children and taking their childhood away from them, and they're saying,
yes,
they want to call you crazy. They want to call us crazy. And then, but what is the negative 45? What is that?
Right.
And this elected official who got pardoned, not only did he get pardoned, but he's going to pour his pension for the rest of his life. So he's expecting, if he lives to a certain age, to get over $1 million of tax-paying dollars when he was committing fraud, a criminal act.
Yeah,
that's the system.
That's
how cold this system
and
is.
the upsetting thing about what frustrates me about the whole system of these conversations is, people like to pretend like they care about crime. Yes. And they don't give a damn about crime. You don't care about crime. That's the truth of it all, because the real crime you see the crime I see from your side of the cap, you know what I mean, all day long, every day, and it's fine. Y'all can't even, I always think about this, even a perfect example, not to be on Biden's head, right? But this is just an example to me. Biden, we all know what Biden's role is 1993 crime bills, all this. We know how he feels, you know what I mean? Exactly what your position was on, criminal justice when it came to us. Right. But without even paying attention, because I don't have no interest, I have seen a litany of Hunter Biden crime. You know what I mean? Like I have seen all kind of stuff. And how come, you know what I mean? You were not jail, your son being criminally prosecuted is not an option here. And I get it. And I don't think he should be, but that's my point. How come you like, if prison is okay, or prison is for these purposes to punish you for doing wrong or to teach you something, it's not this awful, inhumane place. How come your own can't go there? How come when you do crime, when you do wrong, whether you do it in plain sight, you do it big, you do it small, that is not the response that you want to see your people receive. But I'm supposed to be okay with you locking up the vast majority of my community? The average, think about this. The average Black man in America between 18 to 29 years old has been arrested or incarcerated at some point in time. Could you imagine some stats like that for white men? And you think we'd have the criminal system we have? Do you think we'd have it?
Not at all.
Ain't no way.
No way in hell. No way in hell. I want to jump in here real quick. David, if you don't mind, bring those pictures back up. Because those pictures are triggering to me. And there's one brother in particular that I identify with, and I wish we could find out who this brother is. Zoom in on that brother on the right-hand side, in the hoodie with his mask on, with his hands in his pocket. That brother's trying to keep his peace, his sanity in the midst of barbarity, of savagery. They have these human beings packed into this prison cell like the bottom of a slave ship. If you pull up an image of the bottom of a slave ship, is too uncanny,
identical,
close to that.
Identical.
It is.
There is a man
right now.
There's a man that died in Rikers, one of the 15 people that died. He is in a wheelchair and they left him. Oh, you could even see one in a wheelchair where they're confined in these wheelchairs, jammed up, and they left him there for days till this man got sick, caught COVID, and eventually died. It's just the level of, to me, to look at this and to be okay with this and to continue to show up and to say, yeah, we're going to keep sending people here. We're going to keep doing it. Tells me what you think of the people, because it's one thing that lay people don't know. They haven't seen it. But the people that are responsible for this is a choice. They see it. They know they're doing it. And that's the painful part for me. They just don't intend for us to see it.
One other part, because I think this part escapes people. I know you've made this distinction several times this morning already, and you make that distinction in your video, but these people have not gone to trial yet.
Exactly.
These people are pre-trial. That means they don't even have the prospect. I mean, and then the last thing, if you could, you mentioned Khalif Browder, and I think that story is one that most people should understand what he was in there for and what happened to him at Rikers. If you could just briefly tell about that.
Khalif Browder was a 16-year-old boy. They accused him of stealing a backpack that he did not steal. They accused him of stealing a backpack, and they sent that baby boy to Rikers for years. Years. And even by the time he got out and his story was told, the trauma, literally the trauma from having to be, that's not something he ever got over. And years later, he took his own life. And I've said this before and I've said it again. A number of the deaths that happened in Rikers in the last year were suicides. When people take their lives because of the conditions you subjected them to, what their state put them in, the trauma that you put them through, that is not a suicide. That is at the hands of the state. And we can't let this keep happening. We can't let this keep, because for every Khalif Browder, you heard about Khalif Browder, but do you know how many more you don't hear about? You know how much you don't know about? You don't know about Izzy Johnson, the 24-year-old that just died in Rikers in the last year, who had autism, and they set $1 bail on him. You don't know about him. You didn't hear about him, and that's my point. Like, it's not just him, and it's common. And that's the thing I hate is when you do hear a story that moves you to tears or shocks your conscience, they paint it like it's an anomaly. They paint it like there's one Khalif Browder for every. It's not. It's not. That is every day reality. There's a reason why they make it so you don't see these places. That's why. There's exactly. You see what the security is outside of Rikers. It's not just to keep the people outside from and inside from getting outside. It's to keep us from getting inside. It's to keep us from seeing inside there. Because if people really saw, if our communities really saw what we're subjected to, if we really recognize on a deep level that this is any of us, this isn't just about crime, this is about doing wrong, whatever. This is a deliberate, systematic approach to taking us out the game.
Hey, Sister Ole, I want you to look this quote up. And I want this to become a theme to what you're doing, because this is what you basically said. And it's a quote by Victor Hugo when he said, "If a soul is left in darkness, sins shall be committed."
Yeah.
The crime is not he who committed the sin.
Right.
The crime belongs to he who caused the darkness.
Yes. Yes.
That is what we're talking about here.
Yes.
You're casting these souls into darkness.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
God bless,
Good morning.
God bless you, sister, for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Rebecca
Rebecca.
Azor is in the house. Hey, sis.
beautiful.
Tell Rebecca she looked beautiful. Hold on before
Hey,
you start
Queen.
talking, Rebecca. We love this hair.
Girl, thank you. You look great.
Oh, they
You
beat
know,
me
I was
to
waiting
it.
for you to come- I was waiting for you to come with the ginger, girl. I said she's giving us ginger brows. Ginger
Listen,
bob.
I'm
Ginger
getting my
bob.
locks tomorrow, and it's over for
Oh, you
everybody.
getting the locks tomorrow?
Yes, I'm getting the same color locks. Listen, it's
Oh,
over
girl,
for
baby,
everybody.
Oh my gosh, the people are not ready. The
Listen,
people
Hey,
they're not.
hey,
She's
can I
gonna
get a
have the locks
Rebecca
and
and an Olay show? Can I?
Listen?
No,
Can I
I
get a
would love
Rebecca
it.
Olay show? That would
I would love it.
be like the best goddamn thing in the world. Y'all don't
Right,
understand.
get us off the
Yeah.
screen and let us just look at
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I was gonna
Get us
say,
off the
take us
screen
down,
and let us
ladies.
look at them.
No, I just need you guys to look at how Olay, Olayemi, okay, or Lauren, okay.
Yeah.
She got that bob going on, but it's the color for me because they say, listen, you know what it is? How they say brown girls, oh my God, I love that color on you.
Yes.
Listen, sweetie, I'm black.
Every color looks
color
good
looks
on
good
me. Yes, yeah, exactly. You get it?
Yes, girl,
Yeah.
I love that for you. Anyways, I wanted to say yesterday I saw you on the Rising, and every time I see you on there, you get, I love how like you come on our show and we can kick it, but I love how they don't expect for you because you're always at like me
Animated,
on a 25.
Yeah, I don't give it to them.
But you get over there and you could be on 25 with the maybe like a 5 tone, maybe like a 10, but you could still be on a 25 and how you deliver what you deliver. And when you talked about yesterday, I know that's not part of the show today, but I did want to let you know that when you talked about yesterday, the cost of living and how it, how it's going on in New York, and you broke that down to the people in the back who was at the top actually on the show. When you brought have that available.
Look that. We love it.
When you talked about that, I thought that was amazing. And how you juxtaposed it to, you were like, listen, I'm 28 years old. I'm living in a basement apartment in the middle of New York, but I'm here on the Rising. Like, listen, I'm a lawyer.
Right.
Like,
that's because they were, there's this tendency, and I noticed, especially in that environment, to make poverty out to be a myth. You know what I mean? Or to make it seem like the people who aren't able to get these things, it's because, they're not handling their finances right, or they made a bad decision on what degree they got, or they're in loans. I'm like, listen, I don't got no student loan debt. I don't got no babies. I don't got none of this stuff you talking about. The place is just expensive, and you need to know that. My mommy messaged me. She said, girl, you ain't got no shame. You done told the people you live in a basement apartment. I was like, yeah.
That's
I was
right.
like, I'm gonna make the point knowing, and I feel like it's a perfect example. We actually on Friday, I'm gonna be on the Hill again on Friday, and the segment that's coming out is a more advanced discussion of why millennials are postponing having babies and buying homes. I was like, postponing. I was like, I can't think about nothing I can't afford.
I can't afford a baby.
Yeah, I was like a house.
Baby right here with me in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Hey, yo, the lady next to me was like, oh, I don't believe, essentially she said, I don't believe the hype that, people can't afford to raise a family on a single income. I was like, miss, I can't raise a dog on a single income. What you talking about?
Listen, and when you say it like that to those people, when you talk about it in an animal's view, like taking care of an animal, now they start to understand, you can't take care of a dog.
I was like, miss, you think I got a cat because I don't love dogs?
Girl,
that's what I can afford. That's what I can afford, miss. Yeah,
exactly.
No, I gave them the numbers.
On Black History Month, and then on top of that, and they had me on the show today, which shouts out to the Hill. Absolutely love you guys bringing more.
Oh,
Black
beautiful.
During Black History Month. But this is the funny thing, though. I feel like sometimes they expect people to come on there, like you said, especially in that environment, not only that environment, but in those type of environments, and think that we're always going to align with somebody that may be on the show who's of the same color as us, being Black, or they like to pit us against each other. And I think that what I saw today was another woman was on there, a brilliant woman.
They never put me on there with another Black person a day in
their
their
life.
This was
the first time.
Oh, they did that for you, girl. They never do that for me.
I wish they would do it more often so we can really make it Black on there. They need to put me and you on there. But I'm gonna mention that to the lady that be hit me up. But
girl,
I was
they gonna say hell no.
They're gonna be like, because we're gonna run the show. Now they're gonna be like Ryan.
That's gonna be like in class where they split up the two people. Like, you gotta sit over, y'all can't sit together. They ain't putting us on there together.
Well, they say it's a class project and we look at each other.
Yeah, and they say not y'all.
Yeah, but so they put somebody else, right? Which was a brilliant woman. Her name is Denise. I absolutely love. But conversation was about we had two conversations about the child tax credit, them
disposing of that. And then also about Rick Scott's 11-point plan, child. And, just having the conversation there and simply telling them, hey, understand that there's nothing in this 11-point plan that makes sense. I don't care how you guys spit the conversation. I don't care how you question it. I don't care what the next person says to me who is beautiful and Black and a woman who is intelligent. I don't care. We have there is nothing in this period. There's nothing in this plan that makes sense to anybody. It doesn't help anyone.
Exactly.
But what I heard her say was she made some really great points, especially for Black people. But I think the argument sometimes it's putting us in boxes. And what I heard her say was, hey, we need to stop focusing on, and this is going to be for the child tax credit. Let's talk about that one. She said we need to stop focusing on getting these little programs, which I agree with her on. I was like, yes, girl, talk about it. Having these little programs that are supposed to, be thrown to us, these little crumb programs for the Black and brown community. But I had to get her to understand the taking it away hurts the Black and brown community.
Yeah, exactly.
All they're offering us. They didn't give us reparations. They didn't give us these other things. We have to understand that this is what the government is giving us, and taking it away is making it worse for our community.
Exactly. And we have to remember too that just because we can go without something, or something is a little program to us, so we could lose that little help, it doesn't mean it's the same for everybody. Like I had this conversation with one of my best friends, David. He's a Black man in Texas, and he was talking to me about how he thinks he wants to do a couple of little scholarships for his high school. He was like, it wouldn't be much, like $300 each or something, but that's something you could get your book, something you could get by. And when you need that, when you need to get by, those things matter. So, you got to be careful to remember, just because I'm not, in that particular situation, we're not all similarly situated. The Black community is extremely diverse. You got Martha's Vineyard Black people, you got us Black people. Yeah, you got all
Martha's Vineyard Black. I want to,
and I'm far.
Hello.
Me too. And far.
I want to be on the luxury. I want to be on the luxury IG TikToks. I want to be on that too.
I do too. And I don't know nothing. Listen, let me tell you how far I am from being a Martha's Vineyard Black. This weekend, I was hanging out with my Black friend, and he was talking to me about Martha's Vineyard Blacks, which I didn't know existed. But then he said, that's when I was like, oh, I'm truly a brokey, because I swore to God that was in Long Island. He said it was in Massachusetts. I was like,
girl, see, listen. It's like we ain't never been nowhere.
I ain't even know where it is.
Right. We ain't never been nowhere, but not because we don't want to be nowhere, because we're staying within our budget. But there are people who look like me, who look at me and say, oh my God, you're living so great. Let me tell you, sweetie, I had to go out in the outskirts and go gentrify, reverse gentrify a town that I didn't even know existed.
It'd be like that.
Right. That pays, that's like a gym that literally doesn't cost as much as it does to be Black and great in the middle of Atlanta. Like, understand.
And
like,
experiences matter. I had two different back-to-back, two different Black male friends of mine. This shows you on how you're doing in life, right? My one Black male friend, you're doing real well, Brett, walked into my apartment, which I think my apartment is so nice, all things considered. My man's walked in here and said, excuse me. He's like, he's like, baby girl, listen, you too important to the culture to be living underground like a mole person. I was like, would you be underground?
They don't know that you living got your own space in New York is a big deal, because when I was in New York, listen, I was renting a room where a dog peed in front of my bed every day, and I only had a space in that room, okay? Because there were two little girls that were living in a bunk bed in that same shared room.
Oh no, you better than me. That'd be my villain origin story.
Right?
No, like I'd be out in the streets, girl. What in the streets?
And then the woman I was working for, who at the time was like a big journalist at the time, and she was in the building. Dawn Lemon and all of them was living in that building. Her space was as big as my kitchen, and she was paying at the time almost $5,000.
Yeah. No, yeah, New York isn't, and that's what I keep trying to tell people. It isn't just that. New York is not just, it's a difference in expense. First of all, New York is not expensive in a way I can do justice, because before I decided to move to New York, I knew New York is expensive. Everybody knows that. I didn't know what expensive meant till I moved. Hell, I'm telling you, I was like, this is insane. But New York is crazy, because you don't pay. It's not like, oh, I'm paying a lot because I'll pay for the thing I'm getting. New York is like, hey, give me everything you're worth, everything you think you might be worth, and I will give you a shoebox. I will give you a shoebox, and you better take this shoebox, and you better be effing happy about it, girl, because it's gonna be the street. That's how New York carries on.
And then let me tell you though, the people, when I lived there, one thing about it, my nails would be done. I would be fed because there's programs that you can see. There's programs, right? That you can, it's so backwards. It's like, why can't we have it all? They're like, hell no, we're going to give you this program to make sure you fed. We're going to give you this program to make sure you got, a little bit of money where you can go, buy a little something. And then we're going to give you this program where you can go get your teeth fixed, which means pulling out every tooth you got left. Because we're not going to give you the works. We're just going to pull out the tooth that's killing you in the back, and leave you with 2 teeth left. Yes, girl, yes. Then we're going to do a program for you,
teeth on the side,
girl. And then they have you. I watched this. People were homeless, but having J's on their feet. Eating something. Somebody actually drew out a couch. And just sat there every day, well fed, took a shower where they could, but could not afford living at all. And
this is an insane place to live in.
It's crazy. And that's the conversation I was having with them as well. I'm like, listen, what the government isn't focused on right now, Rick Scott and them, what they're not focused on, like him saying he wants to tax Americans. When you're taxing all Americans, that means you want to tax the elderly. You want to
get me started on how my taxes are.
Right.
Y'all will put me off here. As y'all see a big Republican hat for him if I start talking about how much my taxes is. Girl, I know the exact amount of cents. I know the exact amount of pennies I paid exact, and I'm mad. Listen to me. I just want to say this as someone who grew up in a tax haven. Y'all don't even know. Y'all have. I hate how they did y'all like that. Y'all were raised with taxes, so y'all don't even realize that this is a big, insane criminal running into your homes. That's, you don't pay. It's theft. It's theft. Like, No, do you know? I gotta tell y'all, and I don't care. I'll put the real numbers out there because it's important that people know about the world, and I don't have no shame. First of all, if my salary is 78 grand, right? 78,000. That's how much I'm supposed to make. 78. If I got paid $78,000, this would be a beautiful world. And I just want to say, I only allegedly know that's my salary because of the letter, my job. That's where they wrote it down. When I said 70, I've never seen that kind of money in my life. Ever.
Because they're taking everything from you. They're taking your soul. They're taking your they're taking your integrity. They're taking and they're saying that you need this. You know why?
I paid $22,500 in taxes last year. And when I went to file, these had the nerve to tell me I owe them more money.
Me too. Last year they told me I owe them, and I said, "Are you kidding me right now?"
And I played with them last year, but this year I ain't playing with them. I listen to me. Soon as I go to file, and they said, I shut the whole computer down. I was like, you out your mind.
I filed, and then right now they're holding my taxes. They're holding my tax information from me because they say my job itself is saying that I owe them money from a time where I just took a leave. They're like, oh, we overpaid you a certain amount of money, so I owe you. It's a big thing, but the fact that Rick Scott is proposing, to tax everybody, and that conversation to me is very, very dangerous because it's like people. First of all, you from Florida, my guy. You're a representative from Florida. You just got this Tennessee. You brand new, baby, and you trying to get Trump to really wink at you, but you're talking about taxing everybody. That's a Trump thing to do, but. But the thing is, you're taxing everybody. You're from a state where people can't even afford to live there, right?
That's what it is. These people have never been.
Care. Wages are stagnant. The wage movement is literally so slow. Yet the cost of living there has rose faster than any other state in America in the last 6 months. And you're telling people we're gonna tax everybody. The word that he uses for all Americans to have skin in the game.
Okay, let me, and you know why they say that? Because first of all, let me just say this. I figured out the answer to all of this. The people that are making decisions like this have never been broke. That's the first thing. They have never been, and never having been broke or never having really been on the receiving end of these things. Molly whopping you. If you have $100,000 and somebody take $20,000 from you, okay, you know what I mean? You have $300,000. That's how much you make. You have $1 million. It's very different depending on how much money you have and whether or not you have money left to pay your bills, save, take care of this, and the next thing. These people who have these conversations, and I know it because, like you even said, the conversation you see me having the Hill, it's very clear who's aware of what the landscape looks like for everyday people. They're not there because they don't care. They can't relate. It doesn't resonate. But more importantly, not only do they not care, they are never going to have to speak to no people like you. When they go to go dinner, exactly. When they go to go dinner, they don't care.
even the people that bring us on there. And it's not to say that we want to act out in emotions. We're actually living this life every day. How I'm living right now is more grandiose than the last 5 years that I had. I was working with millions of people literally watching me every day, millions of people watching me every day. And the amount I got paid less than my colleague, Benjamin Dixon, who had just came in at the time, and I was already working for this particular company. They paid me something I couldn't even survive on. It was half of my rent. It was half of my rent. And that's what really killed me. And I said, y'all got to understand, when we're going to have these conversations, we have to have them correctly. I don't want to talk about a senator who used to be the governor of Florida, who actually was supposed to be the head of the healthcare system, who ran off with about $300 million for a Medicare fraud. Really, we could talk about that. I don't want to talk about how he still had the opportunity to go up in the system and become a senator, and now is telling us that he wants to tax everyone, doesn't have any plans for Medicare for people, doesn't have any plans for nothing. It's ridiculous.
They just want your money.
Hear you.
They just want your money. Like they just want they just want your money. And the problem is, it's like they take all your money, they take all these taxes, and they don't give it to you. They don't do any of the things you want to do. If you was taking my money, let me tell you something. If you was taking my money and you were putting it into the communities like I want and doing the things that I want, or doing some kind of public initiatives and not trying to lock up all the homeless people and not giving anybody any shelter, if you were doing those kinds of things, we having a different conversations. But they take your money and they give it to the police and civil settlements. That's what they do. They give it to the police and line their pockets, and then they be like, hey, run me the rest of them funds. Run me the rest of that.
Just recently, they ended the child tax credit, all right, and then they are trying to fund more to the military. They're pushing some more to fund more to the military. Recently, Biden literally dropped a plan, and he fought harder for that. He even made an appearance on the television where he wanted to talk about continuing to fund the police. And this is what we're talking about here. Well, I know where your mind is. I know where your heart is. I know where you stand. I know what things are important to you. In the government, they asked me, they said, well, there are a lot of warehouses that are empty to create, more energy, whatever the case may be, batteries that create energy. I said, they don't care about that though, especially that those warehouses can create job opportunities for the Black.
They don't care. They don't care
about that. What they do care about right now is what the hell is in that 11-point list, which I need to just, girl, he got stuff in there saying stuff like, CRT, right? He's saying that's too much for our country, and we should force all kids to stand up for Pledge of Allegiance. Also, to add to that BS is the focus on gender and how we should focus on just calling people a man and a woman. But
Rebecca don't make me go get my hat.
Ain't nothing. You don't have, the wages aren't going up. It's an unlivable world, especially in your state. People can't live there at all. People are being pushed out, especially during this pandemic. There was no assistance that was actually given that was solid for the people of Florida. You don't care about your constituents, but you want to worry about what's between somebody's legs.
Listen. They literally, let me tell you something. They like to distract you. There's certain identity. Like, I don't even believe a lot of these people. I don't even believe they sincerely care. Well, first of all, when it comes to critical race theory, they don't give a damn about that for real. That is completely a straw man argument they came up with to distract us, right? That's what they did that way. They don't even know what it is, let alone to be upset about it. They've never seen it in studies. None of that. These people ain't never even been educated about a Black person, any Black history, anything. The only thing they know about in terms of Black history and racial discrimination is the shit they did themselves. So that is neither here nor there. When it comes to this is literally, they just like to take these identity politics of like attacking any marginalized community, any community they deem as other, they have otherized. They're like, oh, this important to you? Mm-hmm. Let's attack that. Let's do this because it mobilizes their hateful base. You know what I mean? It's not even about these individual politicians. It's like, will this make my hateful base excited? And it's so interesting how much like working class and poor whites will unite on hatred. You know what I mean? Like they will support policies and stuff that don't help them. None will not get another dollar in their pocket just if they believe it will upset us. And it's so funny too, because while they're doing all of that, it's so interesting. I'm like, at the end of the day, I even think about it in the sense of the things that they think will upset me, like even on the internet, because they think, I'm the president of Black authorities somewhere, right? Like they always think you mad, and they think they're showing you. I'm like, You're not showing me. At the end of the day, right? Like our community is very accustomed to being on the receiving end of nonsense. We're very accustomed to people fighting our progress, and we always will. No matter what, if I believe, this is a lifelong fight, this will continue after, and the permanence of racism, we will always fight. We will always continue to find a way to continue elevating, even with all be saying, like, we recognize that both us are sitting there and we recognize, this is completely unfair. We recognize the way we don't get paid equally. We recognize how they treat us. We recognize the different tones they expect us to talk in when they have us in places. But we both still said, hey, we're doing better than we was doing 5 years ago. We both sit in our apartments. I'm like, look at all my commissioned art. That's money here. I couldn't buy this when I was.
I take care of, baby. I could pay for. Listen,
okay, I was like, that's money, sweetie.
I got black artists painting all on my wall, baby.
Listen,
I could afford a couch, baby. I didn't have one.
Right? I got 50 clients. That's money. You don't got a plant, mom. That's money.
Being a plant mom is money, baby.
Yeah.
But listen, we can go for days. I really think, I'm like I said, I am proud of you. Every step that you're taking. I love you so much. Every time I see you on something else, I'll be like, that's my friend. Look at her. And I love what she did with her hair today. I love that.
Yeah, I was about to copy these nails on Saturday. Shamelessly. Okay. I'm gonna copy your whole thing. As soon as you came on there, I was like, you didn't even know I'm about to take the whole look.
And that's okay, baby. Look, that's all right, because I can't wait to see it when you got the dreadlocks going too. Because baby, that's happening too. That's happening.
As soon as I get them, don't nobody talk to me.
No, nobody talk. You need to call Rebecca so that Rebecca can talk to Olay. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. Listen, bring the guys back. Bring the guys back.
Olay, please, Olay, just one time before you go, can you please say, oh my God?
Why my friends be mocking me too? Oh my God.
Hey, I just love it.
I love it. I just want everybody to know we listen to every word.
You say everything.
Oh my God.
No, so let me tell you. Hold on. Let me tell you her accent.
Listen, I didn't know I was this dramatic until I started seeing myself on stuff. I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're talking about.
I gotta tell you, the two of you were absolutely brilliant. We were in the back scene, hanging on every word, just enthralled with the authenticity of it.
Rebecca and me
Y'all
gotta
need
co-host the show.
Gig like that. That was
Look, I'm in here screaming in the microphone, and like, damn, I forgot I'm not on screen. Y'all was just saying some prolific shit, boy.
And what's funny is I love, because our backgrounds are different in what we do, right? And what I absolutely love the most is even how we may communicate it. I love when I hear Olay dropping her gems in lawyer terms or things about law and things like that. And what's funny is, like I said, what I believe these other platforms will do is put us on there and almost like say that these are two beautiful, smart Black women fight.
Yeah. Oh, that ain't gonna happen.
It's like,
it'll never happen.
Agree. But I see you. I like what you're doing. I like what you stand for. Keep doing what you're doing, baby. And
I ain't fighting with no Black person, period. Like on air, online, like all the time. Especially I see it too, especially in the Black activist space. There's so much like infighting, and I'm like, that don't serve us none. It don't get me nowhere. It ain't gonna do nothing for. Like I made a conscious decision a long time ago. That's one thing y'all ain't never seen from me. You ain't gonna never see it from me. I don't say, I'm like, I'm never gonna do that. And also too, to me, I'm not gonna fight. I don't even fight with white people on there. I don't even have that interest level. So I'm definitely not fighting with no Black people. Like I pride myself on, when I go on there, they want you, especially they see you in other, environments. They see you online because I'm very animated. I'm rah. I don't go on a white people's show like that. You know what I mean?
You might get, and for me, what's funny is it's always telling in my face. So you might get some eyes from me. You might get, and when they come back to me, I'm like, Rebecca, yes, right. We're not gonna bring that over there. And some people are like, oh, you're a bit reserved when you're here. No, but did you hear what I said though?
Right.
Focus on what I'm saying, because everybody else that doesn't look like me are focused on how big my hair is.
They're mad the minute they see you on the thumbnail. Yo, there are people, I swear to you, I have never gone on, and they could fight me on this, anybody. I have never gone on the hill and not had a beautiful performance. Like, and every time I go, as soon as they see me, they in the comments, I don't know if you brought her heel foot.
They're like, ooh, why does she have those nails on? Ooh, yeah. They're not listening to what I'm saying. And
they be mad. They be hot. They talk about my anime.
It's not arguing to agree to disagree, right?
They just literally,
you know,
they're gonna always have a problem, yo. They talk about my anime. That's what I knew haters was really about it. They like, because that's when you know you have nothing to say too. That's what I think is beautiful. You can't attack me substantively because first of all, you got to understand my argument with your dumb self in the first place to be able to address it, to be able to criticize me, right? That's one. But two, they'll be like, oh, we supposed to listen to somebody serious. You have this, and I'm like, yeah, and that's real cool. I'm like, you're hating, but that's very dope. This is dope.
Think it's because the anime from your background, they look at you and think that you're not serious because you're rocking that color hair. They literally they ripped me apart from the last time I was on there because my nails were gold and they were distracting to them because in the way that I speak with my hands.
They're racist.
It's like, no, and that's period. And they don't even have to be racist. They be hating, period. Flat. She's just real funny. I don't like to see her. She just looks
Wait a minute. Record. He said they don't necessarily have to be racist. They just haters.
No,
they'll talk about Olay's accent. They'll say the way that I make these dramatic pauses. They'll say, you know, isn't she from that one show? Oh, look at Chubb being a set. It's just they'll really create these ideas that are not true.
But they won't say nothing to the white woman next to you that just rolled out of bed. It's really powerful. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Hair be looking like the girl from Inventing Anna. Be rolling over and getting on there, and they be like, "Ooh."
And that's part. I'm like, yo, y'all are really mad. And let me tell you something about me. I'm like, first of all, I pride myself on the fact that I do what I gotta do. Like, it's in my calendar. Y'all wanted me to come on here and talk. I say what I gotta say. Close my computer. I lay back on my bed and I go do what I have to do. I'm like, I'm not reading your comments. I don't care nothing. I'm like, oh, you mad, but you watching. Not only are you watching, but sweetie, are you commenting? Let me live rent free in your mind. Because the more you keep watching, they're bringing me back.
Invite us back because they're gonna invite us back.
I was like, yes, goofies. I was like, you keep watching, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here. Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God,
bro.
You know, shout
James
out to the Hill for bringing my crazy ass on there, for bringing Aubry crazy ass on there, for supporting all Black women, especially during Black History Month. But I want to see what it's going to look like next month. Don't just bring me on when you know it's going to be spicy. Let's have a true conversation. And what I also challenge them to do is allow the guests to communicate with each other.
They bring me on there to disagree with me.
Right. Like I had to interject in the moment. I had to interject in the moment to say, hey, hold on. Let me talk to her over here. Hey, sis, you know, I love what you're saying. I love what you're talking about. But let's focus on this. And what we can do is disagree. And I love that we were able to disagree and move forward. But they were just like, I can't have a robotic. Let's have a damn conversation up in here.
Yes, let's reply. Let me reply. Yeah.
Olay. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
As always, the best.
We're going to stay public. We're going to stay public because we want to go over these awards show. But David is playing the music, so I guess we're about to take a break.
So much, girl. Look, I hate that I couldn't be on with you early in the morning.
Yes.
Olay. Give it up.
Being here.
Thank you, Olay.
Yay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, girl.
DJ Exclusive. It's in your hands. We'll be right back.
Got more coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. The show is public, so make sure that you stay tuned. The Like It or Not Awards is coming up next. It's the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show Awards. You'll see them in a minute when we come back, y'all. Y'all stay tuned, man. Good morning again. Shout out to Olay, man. That was dope as hell.
I'm a little bit naughty. I'm a little bit too consumed, but every part of my body is telling me to run away from you. Come a little bit closer, yeah. Come a little bit closer, yeah. You're a little bit crazy. It's been days, but you never change. What's love got to do with it? He comes around, better knock that stuff down. Come a little bit closer, yeah. Come a little bit closer.
What's to be good? What's going on? Colin Sherman, good morning. Pablo, good morning to you.
Ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right. Put your finger right in his face.
Good morning. Yes.
Bye-bye. I'm too
those ladies, man, are amazing.
Bye-bye. You're a little bit selfish. You get mad every time you lose. You can't take me with you. I'm scared you're gonna blow your fuse. Come a little bit closer. I can only start over. Yeah. In the back of my mind, there's someone waiting on me. You're just wasting my time because 'cause you're scared and lonely. Finally got some closure. Yeah, I can finally start over. Yeah. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly. I'm too fly. Bye-bye.
That's right, we saw the replay old lady tweet. And y'all tag me nailing that thing. Let's get Lisa involved.
She's too used to be.
Benjamin, move, good morning.
Your friend said that you left me. I'm glad that's what you believe. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly. I'm too fly. Oh, bye-bye, bye-bye.
Y'all go ahead and light it up this morning, y'all. Good morning again. Y'all stay tuned. The after party is up next. You don't want to miss it.
From the turf, I never switch sides. Like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad. Let her ties in the hearse. I've been on the vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, do that ass survive, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit her to the sky, change haters on a tirade. Talking to their crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all with the same.
Shout out, Matt A. Good morning, Matt A.
Like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel big from the bit. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can
hey man, don't forget Friday Patriot Party going down. Friday Patriot Party. Last month of Black History Month. Also party is always Black influence with the Black team. This is extra black. This Friday.
Couple nights at the flat. To be real, cause you see me making moves while I'm still on the grind. Limit time when I chat. Break down sage, keep the demons away. When I write it, give it peace to myself to the page. I don't do it for the praise.
Black and forever black.
Yeah, do it at me, old man. Trying to
blacker than my lip black.
First one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see that. Then he cleared down. Started to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the head, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past supper when I came for the.
All right, y'all know what time it is. It's time for the after party. Can we go somewhere to finish where we started? All right, y'all. Back on the screen, Rebecca, Benjamin, Dr. Matt. Welcome back, y'all.
Hey.
I love that song. After the party.
Okay. Right, Rebecca.
Let's go somewhere tonight and get it started.
Get it started. Hey.
Right from the beginning, now it's on. That's how they was dancing. That they was dancing the little top on skirt that's underneath waistline.
Right.
And the guy with the long leather coat and the turtleneck. Why? Why was they in the outfit? Lord, but anywho, before we get to the next conversation, this is going to be an award show. I think that we're very deserving of this great award that Ben is going to talk about. But before we get there, I did want to tell you guys within that 11-point plan because there's so much that was that we should unpack on that. Within there, that man Rick Scott said that he wanted to do away with race, with us identifying with our race, right? No, Because to me, that's a ploy. Because y'all would not, y'all the ones that created that for us. And then for him to have to utilize Dr. Martin Luther King's words, because that's what they like to do. They like to do that. We talked about on the show too. They like to do that. Them using Dr. Martin Luther King's words to try to justify saying let's do away with the conversation of race. No, now you guys are getting a little iffy because black folks are black folk. Hey, baby. Hey, Jeremiah. But black folks are doing what needs to be done, and they don't like that. In spaces, they're into spaces like they're getting more Congress seats, they're getting more Senate seats. We're fighting to become mayors of different, areas. We're getting higher positions, and we're saying the first black two. When we say the first black two do something, it makes the white people and the white leaders and those people have to look at themselves. What I did see, there's this quote that I want to read to y'all. Let me go to it. There's this quote that said, people don't want to be criticized for what their ancestors did, but they surely want to hold on to the profits their ancestors left, right? This is exactly those folks, the people like the Rick Scotts of the world, the people like the Joe Manchins and the Kristen Sinema. This is like them. So when you tell us not to focus on CRT and when you tell us not to focus on race at the same time, it doesn't make any sense. That's why I say that 11-point plan is very gray for me. There's nothing in it that holds any weight. A lot of counterfeit.
I prefer the 10-point plan.
That 10-point plan from
the Panthers, the Black Panther Party for self-defense. That's the only plan I'm counting up to. Forget that 11.
I don't know, but I'll tell you, I'm in line with getting rid of the issue of race. I'd sign up for it, but I do it right after they get rid of Democrats and Republicans and Protestants and Catholics. Now, when they start doing all that, all right, I'm in.
Okay.
Let mystical magical Monday happen.
Listen, y'all gonna stop cussing on the show. I got blamed for my mama blamed me for the profanity yesterday. I said, Mama, I ain't say nothing.
Curse, bitch. I said from that mystical magical day.
He did. He muted himself. He did.
I know. It was good though.
Ben be trying to blame everything on his mama. Y'all see that whenever we cuss, like Ben, we know you don't want mama on the damn show.
You should bring mama on the show. I would love.
Right, Ben. Right.
Nah, Mama Gwen come. I ain't bringing my mama on this show. I love my mama.
Mama Gwen gonna get on here and cuss too. So I'm just setting you up.
Yeah,
no, she gonna cuss worse than Dr. Mac sometimes.
I just ain't bringing her.
Your mama.
I just ain't bringing Rosemary.
It'd be like, okay.
I bring Rosemary on this show. When I bring Rosemary on the show, she's gonna tell y'all a little bit too much information about me. So I got to keep her at bay. She knows
that's why he's scared.
Okay. Well,
anyway, she know all of where all my bones are buried. Anyway, Rebecca, I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but I'm always proud of you when you go over there on the hill and show them that you ain't to be played with. I always love it when you do that. So, shout out to you.
Give it to her.
Shout out to you, sister.
Thank you. I love you guys, Mina, and thank you. And I always am so much more honored to be back here in this seat every morning. And I realize, damn, ain't no show better than this one, like it or not. Ain't no show better than this one. Ain't no programming like the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. I believe there's just no matter where I go and who I speak to, it's just not like this one. It's just not. This is really for us and by us, and we can bring everyone that we want on as an ally or just to have a conversation. I absolutely love it. But one thing about it is we're not afraid to have those conversations. I just don't want to be the black face somewhere. I actually feel like I'm home in this space, and that's what really matters to me.
But Queen, I got to tell you, in all sincerity, you and Sister Olay were absolutely magical. Absolutely magical.
Absolutely, no question.
I love that girl. I've never met her in real life, but in this space, like she said,
you wouldn't know
what they do is like put you in these spaces with these people. They don't even introduce you to those people. I will say, when I'm in a space with people who don't look like me, I get an introduction. I get I get people, but when I'm always surprised. Like I said, just like you see how Olay was like, they put you always up. Like it's a surprise to be in that moment with somebody who looks like you, but they almost want you to have that surprise effect in that time, in that space, to create whatever they like, to just throw you out there and just say here. But I like that when I met Ole, the fact that she can be herself,
Yeah.
that she is somebody who is a 28-year-old little baby, a little 28-year-old, but she's a lawyer and she prides herself in what she does. She does not minimize herself to what the world says her experience should be.
Right.
The experience
Right.
that she actually has, everything that she is doing right now. She not only walks that walk, she not only talks the talk, she walks that walk. Okay. She
That's
definitely
right.
does.
That's right.
And at the same time, it's like you can really have a conversation with her and feel like, go ahead, I help me understand. And she can break it down to you in so many different terms. She could do it, right? She could do it with her Bahamian accent. Then she could take you here and break it down with some lawyer words, right? And then she can definitely just have some girlfriend talk.
Legalese.
You right. You can have it all. So, but she's I will say in this space, I've never been allowed, especially in the beginning. They did not allow me. I was working with a black female colleague. Wonderful. We went to school together. They did not allow me to really befriend her, create a relationship with her, so much so that Ben and I had to create what we called, outside of what they created for Family Fun Day, we had to get together outside of that to really get to know each other and try to bond. And even after that, they came to me and tried to say,
pit us against each other.
Yeah, we're going to let her go, but we're going to put you now in that spot. What do you think about that? And it was problematic for me that I had to, have a conversation with her myself and just, tell her, girl, this is like, no, tell me what's going on. Let's have a conversation about what's going on. Because I'm not going to allow people, they don't even look like me, first and foremost, to argue already in a space where Black women are taught to put each other down and fight for that spot, that one spot that they create for you in diversity and inclusion. But that one spot that they create for you, they do that. And I don't want that in this space. I don't think we have that in this space. So when I saw Ole in all her freedom, it was good to see myself.
I love her freedom.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Like I so above anything else, I love how free that sister is. And that's how, and the wild thing about it is I'm raising my kids to be that free. But then I'm also a little concerned because this country is not ready for a whole bunch of free Black folks, but they about to meet a whole bunch of not only free technically, but like spiritually, emotionally. We don't even care about your attacks anymore. We don't care about your racism anymore. Like you're not slowing us down because you want us to minimize ourselves. And I see that in Ole. She's like, I am me, and I'm not going. I see that in you, Rebecca. I see that on everybody on the screen.
And that's
y'all are not going to reduce us.
They don't
to
want
this.
The freer you feel as a Black person, the more they don't want to give you a penny for your thoughts. And that's what bothers me. Not even a penny for your thoughts, because now they're going to say you're just worth giving out free content and that's it. But people who don't look like us, who are doing the exact same thing, I'll give you 100 mil for your thoughts.
Well, that's why we have the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show, Like It or Not, with Queen Azor, going over there to the Hill Rising and taking names, snatching the wigs over there. So
not yet. No, not yet. But let's see if they invite me back. Maybe I might get a little piece of a little strand, and I'm Haitian, so you
No.
know.
I don't want you to play with the hair. I don't want you to mess with their hair. I want you to snatch their soul. Reach in.
Ooh, yeah, Dr. Mac.
Souls. Your soul is mine.
Blow it away.
It's mine.
Yeah.
Yes, Rebecca.
Listen.
Till you do right by Black people.
Till you do right. I don't care if you're and I don't like this. And I'm gonna just say this too. Black folks can't go. I got so much to say. But Black folks can't be walking around talking about, I'm only talking about descendants of slaves. When you're saying that as an American, I know what you're saying. But what's funny is Black folks were dropped off in different places. They were slaving on them different countries.
That's right.
I'm a descendant.
Wait a minute,
of slaves.
Rebecca. Did I just see Ben? Did I just see you? Ben, let me see you reaching there.
Till you do right by me, Harp.
It's almost giving your Rattler, but I digress. But
right, you need to spread the strings a little bit more, brother. There was two more. There was two rappers.
You got to poke eyes out.
Let me put an extra finger out there. Let me put an extra finger.
The thumb.
I'm gonna use all 5 fingers.
Turning the dial with 3 fingers,
so that nobody else.
You over here like this, like what the hell, man?
You don't ever mistake me for a rattler. That was color purple.
You do right by me.
It's married, and you created little babies that definitely
that are going to Bethune-Cookman University.
Hey, I think that needs to be our sign when somebody comes on the screen that is crazy. We just all need to reach in there in our own way and just grab them.
And just grab them. And I'll end it. Next. You don't know. You don't even know.
Right?
Ancestors.
I hate
all of y'all. All that. Y'all don't know what's the power that's in there. Hey, it's
Ben might go cut out. Ben.
He know it too.
This is the best show in this space right now. So much so that we were awarded by the Letter Hack, who did a virtual award show with his comic strips, and he had Sam Cedar as the host in the comic way. And I think this is great because he not only nominated us, we accepted an award, and he used all of our voices. And let's take a look at that.
I guess I narrate. Hello and welcome to the 3rd annual Letter Hack Awards. I'm your host, Lance of the Search. Tonight we are announcing the 2021 winners for comic strip worthiness and value. Despite a very busy last year, the Letter Hack found time to make some comics.
All right. Next slide, please.
For the next slide.
David.
And now, let's see who made the cut. Best tank top, Sam Cedar.
I declined the award. He declined his award, child.
Right. Most heroic figure, Dr. Rashad Ritchie.
Hey, y'all give it up to Rashad Ritchie. That's my dude.
Consequences and repercussions. That's what he looked like he's saying in that.
Right. He's really from Atlanta. He's from Atlanta proper. So go ahead.
Easiest target, Ken Klippenstein.
Mm-hmm.
You get a reader, Rebecca.
Oh, I wore lavender one time.
Best co-host sidekick, Emma Vogtland.
Sorry for butchering last names because we don't like to butcher last names around here.
Right.
But
we do.
I don't know your accent, baby, but I don't know. This is what it's
all right. Here's the rest. What's the next one? I love everybody on the screen, but we could go straight to us.
That's what I was saying. I don't know why. It's great.
Here we go.
Here we are.
Benjamin P. Dixon.
Okay, there's your award. The best group dynamics is for Like It or Not with Benjamin P. Dixon. And my saying, which is not really my saying, but I like it because it's a nod to Star Trek. Make it so.
Rebecca Azor.
Love you. Mean it.
Dr. Carl Mack.
Trust and believe.
James DJ X3C Williams. This is due to my theme song, isn't it?
Like it or not.
Georgia Fort.
Thank you. We're on the clock. This is my slide right here. Look at this.
Producers Dwayne and David.
I'll read Dwayne. Dwayne said it's messed up. No, do it, James. He got a low voice. Do it, James.
It's messed up. We had to share the same frame, but please move over.
You don't. He got it. He got a what he does is he'll say let me just say this.
Why you?
Well, so I mean, not to be the one to really say anything wrong with what y'all saying or whatever, but if we really look at it, I mean, we could just say it like that's how.
But now, Rebecca, if you would have came earlier, you would have been on time.
Exactly. He got
two quick observations. There we go.
And then we have David. You're here, babe. Go ahead.
I'm just glad he gave me eyes.
And that's essentially what you said in there. You move over. Dwayne ain't even here. This is your moment. David.
Your mic is hot, David.
What happened?
Your mic. Well, anyway, for me, it's real hot. That looks just like you, David. I wanted to say the letter hack. That looks exactly like you. And Dr. Mac.
even got my hair where it be up on one side right here because the clip be open, so I leave the clip open instead of tightening it. He even got that little piece where the clip just be hanging, and I love that for me.
Dr. Mac, I thought you would like this. My daughter said you look like Tony Stark in that picture. I said, all right, he might like Iron Man. Yeah. And James, I ain't gonna lie, James, he nailed you, bro. Look at the beard.
Yeah, the beard. He got my little two soul patches and everything.
Because I feel like I look like Georgia in this one, and I feel like Ben, Bubba,
looks like Dwayne.
And Dwayne, all us look alike.
I didn't want to say it.
I'm feeling very distinct here, but
you are distinct. You're a distinct person. Period. Like
right.
You look at you, and you could be literally. And I say this all the time. You could be if you were to cut your hair, you could be a bald white man. You could be a bald-headed white man from Louisiana. Wait
a minute. You say a bald-headed white man from Louisiana?
If you were to cut his hair, he would be a bald-headed white man because you can't tell a man is real white from his beard because some of these men got a little kink in their beard.
Oh, you talking about in this? Oh, okay, yeah.
So you know, but the blackness of that light-skinned brother, Dr. Carl Mack, is all in here. That man opened his mouth and it's like ancestors start spewing out from his tone. It's literally just there. It's like it just starts coming out from his shining up.
Right.
Well, listen, I want to give a special thank you and a shout out to Letterhack, who he's done this for us over the years. Really special thank you, brother, because this is nice. It's really, it made my day yesterday to see this for sure.
Mm-hmm. It was
absolutely.
great.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. Some people were upset that they weren't a part of this. I'm glad that we were a part of this. The number, you know, I feel like for us, it's growing. You know, it
turn that damn fan off, David.
I was just about to tell you.
It is you, David. It's you. But I feel like we're constantly growing and we're moving and we're shaping. But I feel like we've always, honestly, as well, been this way. We do have the best group dynamics now. With growth, we've become more of a family. We've gotten to know each other a little bit better, and so that's showing. And I think that's what the beautiful part of it is.
And how many of you all have met each other in real life? Like, never. I know Dr. Mack. None of us have met. David,
I met Ben once.
Yep.
Damn, David only once.
David met me once when I went to New York to negotiate a deal with this media company.
You met that man one time. So Ben been doing this type of meetings and creating these kind of relationships from the internet since 2000.
Ben was made for the pandemic.
2014.
Ben was made for the pandemic.
We're thriving.
Pandemic.
I'm thriving, baby. I'm thriving.
And then I met
the enemy tried to take me out, but I'm here, baby.
I haven't seen Ben in ages. I think the first time I seen Ben was when we went to go do that photo shoot for the pictures that we don't even have up yet. This looks more.
They're never getting published.
Yeah, but listen, has anybody ever met Letterhack? First of all, Letterhack, you are an absolute genius.
Never.
We gotta have Letterhack on.
No,
we do need to have Letterhack on.
Yeah, I said that we didn't have him on, and he should have definitely gave him the opportunity to award us. So one day we'll have you on Letterhack. I think one day soon, because you've been a blessing to us, and the fact that you're one of those people who continue to support us when a lot of people just look at us as some little show. We ain't some little show. We're actually the biggest thing on the internet, and you see that, and you include us in that number, especially when the numbers don't look like us. So we included in that number, and I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Letterhack, if you don't mind, know that I'm posting your washboard ab picture on my Facebook. I think you're incredible, man. I think you're absolutely incredible.
Absolutely.
Trust and believe, Letterhack. That's what.
All right, y'all. No, for real. I don't want to cut y'all off, but I have a meeting exactly at 10:30.
I can't.
I know. Ain't it
I had a video for you.
I needed to talk. I wasn't here, but I love you guys so much, and I appreciate each and every one of you.
I had a video
and I want
for
you guys to have a
video
great day on this Wednesday. I got it, huh?
I had a video for you.
Please play it tomorrow. They are calling me to go to this meeting, and while
I'll
I
wait till you hold it to tomorrow.
I ain't a free black woman after 10:30. I gotta go to
say
the job.
something else,
I
Rebecca.
love you. Bye, y'all.
Hey, Ben, David, Ben and David, I need you guys to talk about that email I sent to you.
Yes. Yeah, let's do that before we get out of here real quick, Dr. Mac. Go ahead, hit it.
Yeah,
well, I need to be out too.
Or you want to talk about it, but because we're gonna.
Yeah, let's do that off air.
Yeah. Let's do it off air.
Okay, that's it. DJ exclusive. If you got a lyric or two to play to get us out of here, it is 10:32. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank you all so much.
Absolutely, y'all, man. Thank y'all so much again for joining us this morning. Shout out to Letterhack for an awesome ass drawing, as usual. And Mama, I did I? Not over everybody. I'm dead, baby. You stupid. Thank y'all again for joining us this morning, y'all. I'll make sure that y'all tune in tomorrow on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show, man. We'll have some great time and everything else. And also Friday, don't forget, Patron party on Friday. Black as hell. Blacker than black. You don't want to miss it all. Love y'all, mean it. And your affirmation for today, working on myself helps me stay grounded when going through difficult times. Working on myself helps me stay grounded when going through difficult times. Love y'all, mean it. Y'all be great. Enjoy y'all day. Love y'all. Deuces.